Hello, friends. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Hope you had a good weekend. I know I did. Well, Avid Brothers, I got a new mic set up. I'm testing it out tonight, so if it's annoying, let me know. Sounds okay in my ears. Does it sound okay out there? Guess we'll find out. Hi, Nikki. If I never lose an audiobook, you'll never hear the end of it. Ba-dum-bum. Try the veal. I love the Avid Brothers, but I disagree with that lyric. The lyric is that your life doesn't change by the man that's elected. We know that that's not true anymore now, don't we? Hi, Bunny. We have a lot to kind of cover off on. I do want to touch on some highlights of some things that are happening. But I have a little bit of fun tonight too. First, a couple of little housekeeping notes. There's a gifting goal this evening. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know why I just dipped into Elvis. Anyway, do I think Joe's going to win? I know Joe's going to win. Anyway, there's a gifting goal this evening. Thank you all to new subscribers, and I want a special shout out to Juliet, to Mary, to Marissa, to DV. I think it's DV. Not sure, for your generous Cash App contributions. Much appreciated. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a link tree in my bio that's got Cash App, it's got PayPal. There's also a link to register to vote. It's Rock the Vote. It makes the process really, really simple if you've never done it before. But I would encourage you to do it. There's a lot of really cool resources there as well. But let's talk about Super Tuesday a second because it's coming up. I guess before we do that, let's kind of get into some of the, I guess you call them exit polls that came out of South Carolina. As we know, the twice impeached, four-time indicted, sexually abusing fraudster won the primary. Um, but much like it was when we saw what happened in Iowa and in New Hampshire, um, 40% of voters, Republican voters in New Hampshire, voted for Nikki Haley. 40%. 59% of those Haley voters said they would never vote for Trump, and then 82% of Haley voters said that if Donald Trump is convicted, that he should be disqualified. That kind of tracks with what we saw, like I said, in New Hampshire and Iowa. And then polling averages, take them for what you will, but again, exit polling as it stands now, 25 to 27% of registered Republicans are never Trumpers. So if those numbers hold true, that's the ball game, right? Because Republicans need a bigger tent. They've been contracting voters for years. We know that by just seeing the turnout for these last few elections, whether they be ballot measures and or congressional elections or things like that. Um, I think it's a telling sign that Ronna McDaniel, the RNC chairwoman, who literally just quit her job, I think yesterday because she did. Can you imagine having that resume? Yeah, what did you accomplish the last 7 years? Oh, I pretty much lost every single election there was. And you? Um, that's a that's a serious issue, which is part of the reason why the Republican parties like to suppress the vote and or cheat to win elections. Um, so, looking ahead to Super Tuesday, there's I think it's 1,300 or so delegates are up for grabs. Vermont being one of those states, 16 delegates in my state, and it's a bit sentimental for me because years ago it was a town meeting day. We have this thing called town meeting, right? And literally, it's like you would imagine it would be. It's a very old tradition, goes back to the early days of the Republic of Vermont, as it was called then. Literally, citizens will gather around in old school buildings and municipal halls and fire stations and wherever it's big enough to hold everybody, and you debate the issues of the day. And we have a very big ballot measure in my town. We need a new fire. We need a new fire station. So our town will get there, and people will raise their hand, yay or nay. It's kind of that simple. It's democracy at its finest, and that's what really got me interested in politics when I was younger. And it was at a town meeting day that I went to years ago that encouraged me to run for state office. So I did. So it's cool. Um, the Haley campaign has a campaign stop in Burlington, Vermont, next week, and I donated $10 to her campaign so that I could get on their mailing list so that I could get an invitation to go to this VIP event. And I'm hoping I do. I really, really hope I do because I've been thinking about questions that I want to ask her. Like I want it to be serious. I want it's a Q&A. That's part of the reason I want to go. And I'm not shy. So I'm trying to think of a question that I could ask that they will take, right? I was thinking like, why don't you use your real name? I could say, I really respect the work that you're doing. I'll throw some bullshit first. I really respect the work that you're doing and the fact that you're still in the race, but why wouldn't you use your real name? And kind of hold her to task, something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. If I get the invite, I'll let you know. And some more housekeeping. Tomorrow night, I will not be hosting a live. I'll remind people later. Was invited to go see a Celtics game in Boston with a friend of mine, so I'll be going to that. So that'd be really, really fun. But tonight's topic is about how far are you willing to go? When will you ever stop believing the lies? Why are you scared of everything? You being MAGA. And I wanted to play this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was something that Jimmy Kimmel and his team did, and it speaks to the blatant hypocrisy of Trump supporters. So here we go. We don't agree on anything anymore. Even facts now are a matter of opinion. Everything is colored red or blue. So we decided to conduct a little social experiment. We sent a camera crew to South Carolina ahead of the primary there tomorrow. We asked people who identified themselves as supporters of Donald Trump for their take on some of Joe Biden's more controversial actions and quotes. But what we didn't tell them at first is that what we said wasn't from Joe Biden. It was actually from Donald Trump.
Do you mind if I ask you who you voted for in the last election?
Trump.
Trump. I'm going to guess you voted for Trump.
It says Donald Trump.
Do you mind if I just ask you a few questions about things that Biden has done in his administration, and you can kind of give me your opinion on that? What did you think when Joe Biden suggested that COVID could be cured by shining a bright light inside the body?
It is very sad that Joe Biden is clearly a dementia patient.
Supposedly hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light.
What do you think about Joe Biden saying that getting through the 80s without getting HIV was his own personal Vietnam?
Again, it's very sad, his mental capacity, and that is a very uneducated statement.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. These are not. I got my notes mixed up. Can I ask you this question? Can we start over? Let me ask you. Okay. Um, what did you think when Donald Trump suggested that COVID could be cured by shining a bright light into the body?
It depends what that technology is. That's a broad spectrum because you have MRI machines and CT machines and infrared and different things. So it just depends the context of that.
What did you think of Donald Trump saying that getting through the 80s without getting HIV was his own personal Vietnam?
Um,
Dementia patient?
no, I don't believe that.
There are accusations that Joe Biden cheated on his wife with a porn star after his son was born. And there's actually a paper trail showing he paid the sex worker $130,000 to keep quiet about it.
Well, who did that? Joe
Joe
Biden?
Biden.
And he was making, I think, less than $100,000 a year at that time
That's
as
right.
a congressman. I mean, senator. And how does he do that?
You tell me. Would you
You're
vote for
a woman.
someone that
Of course not.
Okay. So Trump did do that
Trump had a fling with Stormy Daniels.
and paid her $130,000.
Hush money, yes.
And you're voting for him.
I am. My father had affairs too, and I still
Wow.
stay here.
How do you feel about Joe Biden using his bone spurs to dodge the Vietnam draft?
Joe Biden has a problem. He isn't an American.
that's what we talk about when we talk about the delusion that is the MAGA cult. Literally, the only thing that changed on the question was the person who actually did that bullshit. So, yeah. So that's part of it, MAGA. That's part of it. That's part of the journey that you're on, and I'm wondering if you'll ever make it back from that journey. But let's jump in. Good evening, yikes.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, oh shit.
At the light, turn left onto Walnut Avenue.
Did I? Oh, sorry, my bad.
All right.
Shouldn't probably be doing that.
Are you driving? Are you driving?
A little bit. Not
Can't
really.
be driving, man. Sorry.
Well, I'm not really driving. I'm
No,
holding.
You're driving.
Not holding the phone.
Sorry, you're driving. If you want to come up, you can. Just you can't be driving, bro. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's a TikTok rule. I've heard people say both ways that it's you can and you can't. But delusional, yes, but he's willing to stand up and do something and not just talk about it. So the master, oh, you don't have enough followers. So your comment is delusional, yes. Okay. Okay. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Your comment is he's delusional, and you seem to be okay with that. Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You have a good weekend?
I did. And you?
I did. I saw that Jimmy Kimmel thing and I was rolling.
It's
I didn't know if I should laugh or cry though, because Trump
it's a little bit of
supporters.
both. It's
Yeah.
laugh about how pitiful it is, and cry because of how pitiful it is.
So
Yeah.
I think what blows my mind is that literally it's just one word that changed.
That's
It
it.
goes from Trump to Biden, and the
And
whole excuse changed.
right, and there's not even a self-reflection moment to say, oh yeah, I'd rather not answer. They could walk away,
Yeah.
but nope, they just 10 toes down. What can I do for you?
I was just gonna make sure everybody knows the rules for tonight to be respectful, please. Anybody up in the box, whether that you agree with them or not, please be respectful to them. They're, up here giving their opinion. Anybody up in the box giving your opinion, please be respectful to Fax or Anthony or whoever's up here. If you're bringing things, please bring sources with you, legitimate sources. TikTok and YouTube are not sources. Please. No caps in the comments, please. It's the way that the mods and I talk to each other and the mods and I talk to Fax. And there is no hate speech and there's no spamming. We will just get rid of you. I have no I'm like, yeah, I should probably have some more tolerance, but I'm kind of out of it. No, Jimmy Kimmel is not a source. But that's a really good question. No, Jimmy Kimmel was not a source. It was just, a clip. But no, he's not bringing Jimmy Kimmel as a fact. So please don't use caps. It's the way that we talk, but any hate speech whatsoever will be blocked or muted. And please, for the love of God, stop with the FJBs or FDTs. We don't care. We understand that you have a crush on them. We understand, but they're both married men, and we're just really not interested in, doing that. So.
Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate that.
Oh, look. See,
be
as
kind
soon
to
as
mom.
I say stuff, y'all just can't behave yourselves.
It's okay. Appreciate you, friend.
No
Appreciate
problem.
You, friend, very much.
The one other thing is when somebody's up here, can you please let other people speak? If Vax is talking, just mute your mic, because a lot of the times you guys do have some background noise. It's not your fault. Like, just if you're rustling the phone or something like that, just mute your mic. And please, for the love of God, let people finish a sentence.
Good call.
Go thought by thought, and we'll go against it.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
Talk to you later.
No problem. We'll be down in the comments. They're already going. We got 1,000 people. Tap the screen. Let's go. We're only at 9,000. Coupon.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome. Bye.
Like and share, like and share, like and share. You know the drill. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's jump in. Good evening, Joel.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
So what do you think about my question? Are you a Trump supporter?
I support Trump, yes.
Okay. Will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
I never believed his lies to begin with.
You never believed any of his lies?
No.
So you agree that Joe Biden was the legitimately elected president of the United States?
I believe he was elected the president of the United States, yeah.
So it's a question. The legitimately elected. Do you believe he was the legitimately elected president of the United States?
Do I believe the election was free and fair? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking. It's a simple question. Just listen. Do you believe that Joe Biden is the legitimately elected president of the United States?
I don't believe there was no foul play.
Not the question. It's really simple, Joel. It's a yes or no. Do you believe that Joe Biden is the legitimately elected president of the United States?
He is the president of the United States and he was elected.
So you won't answer that question. So then you do believe Trump's lies.
Well, I don't think that's one of Trump's lies. I think that that's actually
Donald
something
Trump
he
win the
told the truth
election?
about. I don't think that you could make the argument that there was no foul play.
So did Donald Trump win the election, Joel?
No, he did not.
Okay, so then you believe his lies because that's all he's been telling you ever
Well,
since.
that's not the same thing.
Well, it absolutely is the same thing, Joel. So what I'm
No,
curious
no,
about,
because
Joel.
like Barry
Joel,
Bonds
hold
was a
on,
national
Joel,
championship. That
Joel,
doesn't mean he
Joel,
wasn't a cheater.
Joel, Joel. The question that I asked you that you refused to answer, I think, is very telling. It was really a simple question. I don't know why you can't answer it. I'll try again. Is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States? Yes or no?
Yes,
Okay. So then that's good because he is the legitimately elected president of the United States.
but
Now,
I don't think it was a
okay, you don't think it was a free and fair election,
no.
but Joe Biden is the legitimately elected president of the United States.
Well, he is the president of the United States and he was elected, so he's
Okay,
legitimately
you
elected.
already said that he was legitimately elected. So then what wasn't free and fair about it, Joel?
I don't think if they hadn't had all the mail-in voting, he would have won by the same margin.
Okay, but that doesn't change the fact that it was legitimately a legitimate election.
Okay, if
That's your
President Trump
feelings.
wins this election, would you say he won legitimately?
Yeah.
And you'll agree that he's your president?
Yep. See how easy that is, Joel? Oh, and he ran. It's not that hard. It's really not that difficult, the question. It's really not that hard. He probably got clapped. Thank you, Cookie. He probably got clapped. Melvin, how are you tonight?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am now a conservative and I would vote for Trump, but I'm not a supporter of his. I've been a lifelong Democrat up until the 3 years of his presidency when we heard over and over and over again about Russia, and then it turned out to be Hillary and the Democrats.
Well, that's
I
not true.
lost
So
all
let's
faith.
let's let's slow down a second,
It's
Melvin.
actually
Actually, it's
literally
not true.
true.
It's actually not
It
true, Melvin.
is.
No,
It
actually,
is,
it's not.
buddy.
No,
It
no,
is.
no, but no, Melvin. This is how
See,
this
that's the
works.
problem with
Hey,
people like
Melvin.
you.
Hey,
You have
Melvin.
this echo chamber where
Melvin. Hey,
nobody can
Melvin.
oppose your viewpoint.
Hey, Melvin. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that right now. Okay. I'm going to
Yep.
give you I'm going to give you an opportunity to do that right now. Okay. Let's first of all, let's see if you can act like an adult and exercise some self control. Okay. So the way that this
Don't
works is that
patronize me, buddy.
I'll
You're
patronize
not
all.
the authority of
You can
on
leave.
morality here.
The door's right there if you want to leave. So
You're
here's the
right.
thing. The burden of proof is on you, Cupcake. So you made a claim.
I'm
So
not your cupcake, little girl.
oh, okay. Are you
Don't
angry?
call me names. Don't call me names and
Are
demand
you are
respect.
you angry?
I'm not. I
Are
hate
you
people
are
like
you
yourself that
angry,
insult
Melvin?
people but expect
Are you
respect in
sad?
response.
Are you angry, Melvin?
I'm not. Are
You
you?
sound angry. So
Are
let's
you? You
let's
called me
start.
cupcake. Are you angry?
I'm not
Cupcake?
angry. No, it's
Then
just
why'd you call me cupcake?
because you're emotional, Melvin.
Really? Because I
Mm-hmm.
made a comment you didn't like. That means
No,
I'm
I'm asking you to
emotional?
back it up. I'm asking you to back it up, Melvin.
Steele dossier, buddy.
Right.
It's a
Give me
legit thing.
right. Do you
Hillary
know
Clinton and the
right?
Democrats created a false
Hey, do you
narrative
know who
and
paid for that though?
repeated it for years.
Hey,
See, you
Melvin.
won't let me speak.
Hey, Melvin. Do you know who paid for the? Do you know who paid for the Steele dossier?
That it doesn't really matter, does
Oh, it
it? Who
doesn't matter.
perpetuated the lie? Who
Oh,
perpetuated the lie for
right.
3 years
Why are you
straight?
yelling, Melvin? Why are you yelling?
Because you keep talking over me instead of
Oh,
having a conversation.
so You sound
That's
like you
what
really
people
want
like
to.
yourself with these echo chambers
Right,
do. I
right,
usually
right,
don't come in here because people like yourself, you can't be swayed with any
right, right,
truth
right, right.
because what you think, what you've been told, or
So have
what
you
you've
read
heard
this? Have you
is
read this?
I have. No,
Right.
that election was a fucking outright a steal.
Oh, it was right.
Mail-in
So,
balloting
so
was
Melvin,
fucking
let's start from
manipulated.
scratch. Let's start from scratch, okay? Let's start from scratch. Have you had dinner yet?
Pointless, irrelevant.
Really? Because nobody fucking cares. God damn. Because Melvin is obviously very triggered and very, very angry. I'll remind people that the Steele dossier was opposition research that Republicans who were running, including Ted Cruz and others, paid an organization to get research on Donald Trump. And then that research was then offered to the Clinton campaign. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. Isn't it funny, though? Isn't it funny that Melvin seems to forget that the Russians absolutely interfered in the 2016 elections? And guess what? They're doing it again. In fact, the whistleblower, the guy that was going to bring down the Biden crime family, was just indicted for lying. Come to find out, he's a Russian intelligence asset. Isn't that interesting? Gosh, I'm sorry, Melvin. That's really unfortunate for you. That is really, really unfortunate for you. I don't know what to say, Melvin. Maybe take your meds, bro. Maybe. DJ, what's up, my friend?
What's up, dude? I just like was scrolling and I saw you were live, and then I walked into just like screaming, and I'm like, "What's going on here, dude?" He was super triggered, man. It's like, dude, they're so cultish. It's so culty and weird. It's just there's no, and the thing is, there's no shortage of them. You could be on
No.
these lives every single day. You are, and you find them. They're everywhere. It's funny. My girl was talking to me this morning, and she was telling me a story about how, and mind you, my girl grew up Republican, just so you know, but she's not anymore. Um, and she's, she even voted for Trump the first term, and she's seen the light.
Did you know this about her before you guys got
I've
together?
known her for since we were 15,
Okay.
and as we and I don't judge people on like who they vote for. Your actions are going to speak louder than they need to. I know a lot of people voted in 2016 for him because they thought they didn't want Clinton's in. I get all that. I didn't vote for him. I voted for Hillary because I didn't believe that dude's bullshit at all. And but over time she started seeing things as we were dating, and I was like, and I just let her come to the Jesus moment, and she's at the point now. She's like, "Yeah, this dude is gross." You know what I mean? And she told me this morning about, I think it was, I can't remember what exactly it was, but they were interviewing some Trump supporters, and they were talking about how like what Biden did, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Biden, yeah, 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 yeah." And then the person said, "Oh, my bad, my bad. Actually, that's what Trump did."
I played
And
that
they
clip
pi- they
earlier.
pi-
It was
they
from Jimmy Kimmel.
pivoted
I played
immediately.
it.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was
Yeah, I
Kimmel,
played it earlier.
and they pivoted immediately
I know.
from blaming to excuses and oh well maybe, and well he tried to like, dude, are you guys even listening to what you're doing and saying? I mean, it's insanity. Like, and I appreciate coming into your lives because you actually research and dig and look and have information. I learn a lot from you.
Cool. Thanks, man.
um yeah, and I appreciate it because facts do matter. And I
They do.
get that the world we're in right now, they want facts to not matter. It can just be alternative facts, or you can make up whatever you want. When you're a kid, that's considered lying, right? You got in trouble for that. When you lied to your parents and made up other facts about things that weren't true, you got in trouble for it, or you should have got in trouble for it. And so the fact that we're in this climate now that it seems to be okay that a person just makes up shit. It doesn't even matter, pulls things out of the air that don't exist and tell you that it's actually true is insanity. And I just wish some of these people would actually just pull it back a little bit and take a look at how crazy they are when people are like, your platform is about information. You're asking questions. Explain to me why you see things like this, because you have to make me understand where you're at so we can even have a conversation. And they can't do it.
Correct.
It's crazy, man.
Can't answer simple questions like, was the election a little legitimate in 2020? Little questions like that, because I think they answer if they share their truth self and their true opinion, they're going to realize, oh, they
Well,
don't
and I
care
think
because they're in a
and
cult.
and the thing he just said a second ago, he's like, "Oh, I don't come in these echo chambers." Okay, so what are you other chambers? So you mean these MAGA lives that you're in? Those aren't echo chambers? Are they giving you any kind of factual information? Or, I mean, I do they have someone sitting like you do? I can't forget his name. I'm forgetting his name right now. He's normally up here with you.
Anthony,
Um, huh?
Anthony,
Yeah, why am I forgetting? His name's Tony, like my name. You literally have Anthony normally there, right there, sitting right there, checking things as people are talking, and then giving you information. So like that's called being having some type of care for actual factual stuff. These other people aren't doing any of this stuff. I'm on TikTok every day. I go in and out of people's lives, and I hear I go in MAGA lives and just listen, and I can only be in there for like a couple seconds because it's like this is just nonsense. It's like I mean, you guys are just making stuff up, right? So
yeah,
I just hope people start to realize the lies, and hopefully the our judicial system will do what it's supposed to do and do what is supposed to happen. He'll get his day in courts, and then maybe when things start to like fall the way they should fall, maybe they might wake up. But I wouldn't hold my breath.
fingers crossed, bro. That's
Well,
why we
hey,
do it,
I
though.
just wanted to jump in to say hi. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
stopping by my lives. When you do, I'll be in the live listening because, like I said, I learn a lot from you guys. So
Thank you,
have a
brother. I
good day,
appreciate you.
man.
You too, man. You will. Thanks, Tony. He's right about that, because that's the conversation that we have to continue to have about information. When I started doing this, that's why. And I found this really cool article over the weekend that I thought kind of speaks to a lot of this. The title of the article is "Why Is It So Hard to Admit You're Wrong?" And they break it down into 5 categories, and I'll kind of paraphrase, but we believe that admitting mistakes makes us feel weak. One common reason is that we feel weak, or that we're showing weakness when we say we're wrong. This comes from the mistaken assumption that strong or worthy people are not wrong ever. Often, this is an idea that comes out of our families or other people. Also, we have a hard time seeing the perspective of other people. It's important to keep an open mind and allow yourself to consider new possibilities. You don't have to accept them right away, but just asking yourself if it could be true and how could it be true can do a lot to help you keep your opinions flexible. Number 3, you're oblivious, unaware of the mistake. An issue is that we don't always notice our mistakes or know that something has happened. It is, of course, difficult to make a change if we don't know that a situation requires it, but there are still things that we can do here. Number 4, you don't know how to accept a mistake. Often we come from families and schools where mistakes were punished. The patriarchy, the church, parochial schools. I've had my knuckles slapped as a kid. This can teach us to hide them, and very frequently to find ourselves stumped when we have to talk about it. You might be afraid of the other person's reaction, or find yourself unsure of how to approach the issue. And finally, you are worried that it will be used against you. I think this is the big one. In some places, it doesn't feel safe to talk about mistakes. Environments where errors are harshly punished or taken personally can be difficult to manage, but this is not a problem with the idea of discussing problems openly, but rather an issue with the environment. Acceptance, right? It speaks to character. Like, if you can't admit you're wrong, which part of the reason that we played that tape from Jimmy Kimmel earlier. Literally, the question was asked. They took it as Biden. Here's an opportunity for me to attack Biden because of all this bullshit, when the truth is it was actually Trump that said those things, or it was Trump that did those things. And for any of those people to admit what Trump said, or describe what he said the way as if Biden had said it, that's why we call it a cult. That's really the reason that we call it a cult. And it's pretty depressing, actually. It's pretty sad. El Camino, good evening.
Real quick, by the end of Melvin's little phone call there, all I could think of was George Costanza stumbling in the anger management session on Seinfeld. Remember that one?
I do. Are you driving, bro?
And no, not anymore.
Okay. You sure? Okay. Yeah, I think so. Again, I think it's a TikTok rule, and I don't want to, go too far with it, but I've heard some people get their lives taken down because people are driving. But that's TikTok, and who knows. Continue to like and share, friends. Really appreciate that. There's a gift and goal this evening. Appreciate all of you. Rusty, don't look like you're able to connect, brother. You can request again if you want to. Bring it right back up. Well, Anthony will be joining us, but I think he won't be joining us until later. Hope you're all doing well. Doing something constructive like doing some research on Joe Biden. I've done a lot of research on Joe Biden. Match, how are you tonight?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am not. I actually just wanted to come in here, say, love your material, come by often, and
Thanks.
wanted to help with one thing because I don't think anybody's asked it yet. If it came out that there was credible evidence that Joe Biden had committed crimes and it, he'd been indicted just like Trump, would you still support him?
Lock his ass up. Wouldn't
Lock his ass up. That's it. That's all I needed. And just so the rest of the MAGA could hear it, because nobody ever seems to ask the Biden supporters, well, would you guys stop? Yeah, we would. That's why we have
You
a
know what's
vice.
funny about that? You know what's funny about that, match is that they don't believe us because they think that we love Biden like they love Trump.
Exactly.
And we don't. Joe Biden works for me.
They don't
He
want
works
to
for
be
you.
ones in a cult.
Exactly.
But just wanted to say, thanks again for all that you do, and thanks for having me up real quick.
You got it, brother. Have a good night. See you later.
You too.
Bye. Yeah, that is the question, right? I don't know what to tell you guys, but that's the reality of it. I mean, that really is the reality. Yeah, if he'd done a tenth of what Donald Trump's done, impeach him, indict him, and throw him in jail. Wouldn't lose sleep over it. Jack's mom, how are you? Jack's mom. Hello. Jack's mom. Jack's mom going once. Jack's mom going twice. Sorry, Jack's mom. I'll ask the chat. For those of you that are Democrat and or liberal and or planning to vote for Joe Biden, put a W in the chat if you would say lock him up if that question was asked of you. W lock up Joe. If that was the question. You see MAGA? See how that works? That's how it works. That's why we're all not in a cult. We hold our politicians accountable. That's what we would do. If he committed a tenth, I mean, one iota. If there was an essay libel verdict against Joe Biden, I'd want his ass in jail. Period. We're not in a cult. Sorry that you are. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. Right, Nikki, exactly. Basecoin, how are you? Okay. All right, Eli, you have enough followers. Jump in the box. You said that Biden committed treason. I'd love to talk to you about that. Just sent you an invite, Eli. Please jump in the box. We can talk about that because I didn't know that. I'd like to find out. Gosh, really important that we have that conversation if Joe Biden committed treason because that's a horrible crime against our country. Gosh, like selling out secrets and things like that. That would be horrible if he did that. Really, really bad. Awful.
Well, you're a South African anyhow. I can tell you're a white with no common sense of what's going on.
Slow down. How are you this evening?
Let's talk some real man-to-man talk.
Good evening. How are you?
Okay. Good evening.
How are you,
Mr. Liberal? Let's go. Good.
Okay. So, thank you for the label. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely. Well, I used to be a Democrat.
I don't care.
But
Are you
then
a Trump supporter?
I switched parties because I like what Trump was doing. I said,
so you're a Trump supporter. So will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
Let me finish. I said these Democrats are delusional. They lie. They cheat.
So will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
And that's it. Trump is the best thing we ever had.
Will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
Oh, he doesn't listen. Trump is the best thing you could ever have.
Pablo, it's just a question. Okay. Will you
Listen,
ever
Trump was a
stop believing
Democrat all
Trump's
your life.
lies?
What are you talking about? You guys loved him at one time.
Pablo,
Since he
it's
switched
a
over
simple
to the
question. Yeah,
party.
but I'm not voting for him, so I'm asking you.
Who you voting for? Joe Biden, the guy who's
Pablo, let's
delusional?
have a conversation. All right, let's have a conversation.
Okay, let's go.
Let's see if you can maintain some self control.
All right, let's go. Let's go. We got this.
Self control. Answer questions. Got it? Cool. So, when will you stop believing Donald Trump's lies?
When the Democrats stop cheating and
Without
lying.
Okay, without pivoting.
See?
Let's try it again, Pablo.
Okay, like
If
I
you
just
think you
told
can
you.
answer a
When the
question, so
Democrats
the
stop
question is
cheating
not
and
about. There's Pablo. It's really simple, man. Will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
never.
Yes or no?
He's the best. He's the best thing we ever had. No.
So you're okay
He's
that
not
he
a
lies to you.
liar. The guy tells you how it is. You know what it is?
He's
You
not a
like the
liar?
soft guy.
Wait, Pablo, hold on. So
You
he's
don't like
not
a
a
real man.
liar.
I can tell you already, you don't like real strong men. You
Gotcha.
like the sensitive guy. You want the soft
Right.
guy who lies to you and
So
sticks you
Pablo,
right in the back.
Pablo, did you notice how much you pivoted away from that question?
No, I'm not pivoting. I'm telling you in your face. I'm telling
No,
you the facts.
you pivoted.
You like
I'm
when these guys
So
pretend like you're
was
friends
Donald Trump
and then they
was Donald
stab
Trump
you in the back.
Pablo?
Trump is telling you in your
Pablo,
face.
Pablo, deep breath.
Come on, buddy. Stick with me.
Donald, you need to you're not answering questions, you're pivoting. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna count. So you've already pivoted twice. Let's see if we can get the tally up
Can't
to 5.
have it. I'm telling you the truth.
Right. I haven't heard one bit of truth yet. So is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States?
No.
Okay, so then you believe that lie that Trump
No,
told you.
I saw what I saw.
What did you see, Pablo?
Dude, they were freaking. Listen, you were in Vegas. They had cardboard boxes on the windows.
Right.
They were pushing Republicans out, and I was like, "What's going on here?"
And why did they lose all those court cases, Pablo?
Well, of course, once listen, you got to understand. You got the powers that be. You got Vanguard. You got BlackRock. You got all these billionaire, trillionaires that control Democrats and
Trump
Republicans.
appointed judges. So,
Okay.
So help me understand.
It doesn't
Pablo.
matter. The judges were, their hands were full.
Right.
I mean,
Their hands are full. Got it.
They're not going to change it at the last minute.
Right.
But everybody was watching this. Everybody was paying attention.
So here's a funny thing about that, Pablo. So let's break it down for a second. So are you saying that the ballots that got switched from Trump to Biden?
No. Listen,
so what is
I'm saying, and you got to listen, okay? Just don't talk for me. When you went to these places, a lot of the Democrats that were running the shows there, they were kicking a lot of Republicans out. You have to be real far away to see the ballots. Let me finish saying what I got to say. Now, they had cardboard boxes. That's not how you run on a legitimate, with integrity, voting booth, right?
Have you worked elections, Pablo?
What?
Have you ever worked an election?
Well, no, I haven't. Never worked
So
one.
how would you know?
But I can tell you,
How
they
would
were
you know
treating
that?
Republicans very bad, terrible.
How would you know that, though, Pablo? If you weren't
Because I was in those areas looking.
I just hold on, Pablo. I just asked you a question. If you ever worked elections, and you said no.
No.
So now you were there. So what is it? Yeah, Pablo was. See, Pablo got clapped, friends. See, that's what happens. See, when you spread conspiracy bullshit, the guests get clapped. Nobody booted him. He got clapped from his own bullshit. Now, he didn't run. He got clapped. That's what happens when you spread misinformation and lies. So I think it's safe to say that they'll never stop believing Trump's lies. But, we'll keep talking. We'll see how that goes. We'll keep chit-chatting. That's a good one. Biden's a resident chief. Never heard that before. So clever. Good evening, Chris. How are you tonight? Chris?
Yeah, speaking.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Hey, will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
What lies?
What lies? So, is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States?
No.
He's not. So why would you say that?
He's got Alzheimer's.
Oh, really?
He has other people
are you an expert
with him.
Hey, Chris.
He can't walk.
Chris, hold on.
He shits his pants when he visits the Pope. He's a treasonist.
Who wears the diaper?
He's a treasonous. He left
Hey, Chris,
American
are you going to answer
equipment
questions?
in
Like, do you want to try to have a conversation like an adult, or do
Afghanistan.
you want to act like a kid?
That means he
Hey, Chris.
empowered the
Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris.
country
Hey,
where
Chris.
them
Okay.
army.
So, Chris, ladies and gentlemen, we have another one. Chris, the way that conversations work is that you have to have a conversation. So you can't just come in and run and kind of, lean back into your conspiracy nonsense. So I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to ask you to unmute your mic, and then I'm going to ask you one question when you come back, okay? And I want you to be able to answer it. Are you ready? So you can unmute your mic. It's a little microphone. Click your picture. It's a little microphone icon, Chris. You can click that. You can turn your mic back on. Can you do that? Okay. Good. Excellent. So let's start fresh. Did you have dinner yet, Chris?
Nope.
What are you gonna have?
Probably a steak and.
Nobody gives a fuck. Nighty night, Q. Nighty night. Oh my gosh. Triple 1976. How are you tonight?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. Are you a Trump supporter?
Um, I was, and now I'm kind of in the middle
What's
at
that
this
mean?
point in my life.
What does in the middle mean?
You know, I want to see America just become something that we all knew that it was, if you know what I mean.
What does that look like to you?
Just everybody getting along, everybody happy, nobody calling anybody out on their bullshit when we know it's bullshit. You
Like
know,
what? Like what's bullshit?
just like, so for example, just your neighbor mows the yard wrong according to the HOA, and he's just out there doing his thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? I just want to see America get back to being America and just be happy. Everybody be happy. Because right now, in my opinion, we're living in a serious world of depression. And this is my outlook on life, on 2024. I mean, it's just like, why can't we all just get along anymore? Every day I wake up and there's somebody's got to say something bad about somebody, or somebody's got to nitpick on this.
Right.
Why? For what reason? What moral grounds does that give you and make you a better person?
Do you think it's moral ground, or do you think it's a person's reaction to something?
Well, and the thing is that my conclusion since I'm 47 years old, and
you're a young man.
The fact is that, okay, we used to wake up, be happy, be free, go to work a 40-hour, 50-hour week job, prosper, be prosperous.
Okay.
Well, nowadays that doesn't exist anymore. The going to work for 40 hours a week, fucking making. I'm sorry, I apologize for cussing.
It's okay.
But it's like you cannot live and survive in this world that we're living in on 40 hours a week.
Who do you think's mostly responsible for that?
To
what
be
can I call
honest,
you? You want me to call you Triple?
Yeah, call me Triple. That's fine.
Okay. Who do you think's responsible for that, Triple?
Well, over my lifetime, I've seen it decline, and I've seen good and bad over my lifetime. I mean,
yeah, we all have.
Under
But I guess
Bush,
more specifically though, who in general?
well, like under Bush, I mean, things were good for a while, and then it disintegrated.
Right.
And
okay,
then Obama came in and promised change and this and that. It was good for a minute, and it disintegrated. And then Trump came in, and it's like we're in this revolving cycle. Okay, you know what I mean?
I do, but I think it's really important that we kind of understand, because if you're, I will agree with you to a certain extent, Triple, that it's difficult when you're working your ass off and you feel like you're oppressed. But do you think that corporate America has got anything to do with that?
Well, so I work oil field, so let me just throw that out there. I work oil field. I go out, I work 110 plus hours a week. Okay. And I see half of my check go to subsidize this, that, and the other, when I still drive down the same shitty ass roads. I still
Yeah.
drive down the same shitty ass streets. I mean, literally, the last 30 years of my life, what have I worked for?
Right. Well,
I
let's
guess
go back.
that's
Let's get back to the question though. So, if you work in the oil industry, you're also aware the industry that you work in makes record profits, right?
well, yeah, and I have over my lifetime, I've made record profits as an individual. I've never boasted about it. I've never, I've took pride in getting up every day and going to work.
Okay. I understand that, but I guess because I feel like you're trying to blame because the way in which
I'm
you
not
said it.
blaming
Well, let
anybody.
me
I'm
let me
just
let me let me
voicing
finish
my
triple. Hey,
opinion.
triple. Let me finish. Yeah, I gave you a lot of time to talk. Let me just finish. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Specifically, it seems like you're looking for somebody to blame, and instead, maybe you should be looking at capitalism when you look at these corporations, especially big oil, man. During COVID, there was the biggest transfer of wealth in world history. Corporations and CEOs and executives got richer, and the middle class and the poor got poorer. That happened by design, which was a major cause of inflation, a major cause of why we have this wealth gap that we do. So I would think that you would be pro employee, right? You would be pro union, pro labor, pro worker,
Well, I don't
right?
agree. Can I just chime
Well,
in?
can you just
I
answer
don't,
that
I
question?
don't.
Hold on, wait. Can you just answer that question? Because if your complaint is that you're working harder, but yet you feel like your work's not valued as much as it is, wouldn't you say that you would be more pro worker?
Well, and I was brought up that way. I mean, I
Right.
grew
So
up on
then
a.
if you're pro worker, then you're a Democrat, man, because the Republicans are certainly
Well,
not pro
okay.
worker.
So when I first got signed up when I turned 18, yeah, I was Democrat.
Okay, so hold on, bro, because I want it's really important to answer questions. It's easy to bounce to something
Okay.
else. So
Okay. No.
what I'm trying to get you to understand. I'm trying again. We're having a sincere conversation. Hope you feel like I'm treating you with respect. That's the goal here. But specifically, if your complaints are that you're working harder and harder, and you don't have much to show for it, and yet the corporations that you're working for are getting richer and richer and richer, and the Republican Party are the ones that are handing out these tax cuts to these corporations and to the rich. Meanwhile, you've got Democrats that are trying to, raise the national minimum wage and support labor unions and those kinds of things. So wouldn't it seem that your beliefs should be more aligned with labor and thus Democrats?
Well, and I had this conversation with my buddy about an hour ago. He works. He's self-contracted,
Okay.
and he's out there making $600 a day rate, and my son that's in the field, he's making $26 an hour, and it's like, where's the breaking point? I guess is my question.
Right, but you
What?
haven't answered my question though. This
Oh,
is this
okay,
this is my point. So
okay.
you're complaining about
Well, I'm not
working.
complaining. I'm just airing
Hey, Triple,
grievances.
hey, bro, let me finish. Let me finish answering the question. Okay, it's really important. I want you to think about, listen. That's why we have 2 ears and one mouth. This is what my mother used to always tell me. Right. So
Okay,
listen,
okay,
listen
yeah.
to answer the question as opposed to just listening. Okay.
Hmm.
We have a massive gap in wealth between corporations, the richest among us, CEOs, the billionaire class, and us working folk. Okay. They got richer and richer during COVID. They continue to get richer and richer. That gap seems to be wider and wider. It's the Republican Party that hands out more corporate welfare than anyone else. Tax cuts for the rich, protections for corporations, deregulations. Meanwhile, they vote against the worker. They vote against raising the minimum wage. So I'm taking you at your word for what you said. You said you're pro worker. You said you're pro roughneck out in the field, whatever that might be. So wouldn't it make sense you would align more with Democrats on that?
To a point, I understand the point you're trying to make.
Okay. Because again, if you look at politics, it's not a game, man. You've got to vote for the things. I mean, that it seems to me that you're voting against your best interest if you continue to vote for the corporations that are ripping you off, man. They're ripping all of us off.
Well, yeah, I understand your point, and I guess that's kind of where I guess I'm struggling at this point in my life. Is
Sure.
I've worked for corporations, I've worked for companies. I'm not going to name them, and then I go out and freelance, and my life's simpler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my life's more enjoyable, and I'm not a I hate to use this term. I'm not a slave to the man. You know.
Sure.
So I guess I'm kind of confused at this point in my life of okay, I see what Joe's done and whatever. And I see what Trump did and I see what Bush did and I've seen what Obama's done, and it's like to me in my mind nothing's better over that 30-year cycle of my life.
Nothing's
You
better.
know, I
So
mean
when
really,
well,
I
let's
I'm
change
just
it. Okay, let's change it up a second, right? Because you said you want people to get along and you want everybody to have these kumbaya moments.
well not
When
even. I mean, you can classify them as kumbaya,
okay,
but
I'm just
no,
saying,
it's
just
it's
just
called
bear with me. Hold on,
it's
bro. Hold on,
camaraderie.
hold on.
It's
Okay, I get it.
camaraderie.
I get it. Okay, so when you hear the term "Make America Great Again," what's your reaction to that?
Um, I well, I don't know. I just to me it doesn't mean jack shit to me at this point.
Me, because why?
Well, because I've lived this entire life cycle that I've lived through to this point in my life, and I've seen this country go up and down, fall flat on its face, up and down, flat on its face. How many times are we going to repeat this cycle? That's my question.
That's
Make
fair, but I
America
guess
make America great again doesn't mean jack to me at this point. You
okay.
know, it
Well,
doesn't it doesn't
shouldn't
because
have to.
I look outside the box on a lot of stuff that I see on the internet and I read on, and it's like, I mean, I'm not saying America's never been great, but it's like we've been constantly in this revolving cycle.
Do you think it's been great for everybody though?
No, because me and my dad were having a conversation last night about old times and history, and and this country's never been great. I'll admit that. This country has never been great.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
been great. It's been great for white people
no, not necessarily.
for the most part.
Not
For,
necessarily.
for the
I
most
mean,
part,
my ancestors floated the boat across to this country,
sure.
and
But again, for the most part, I mean, there's been no hurdles that have been put in your way by the color of your skin, right? Triple.
not until the last 5 years. The last
What
5 years of
what
my life.
hurdles have been what hurdles have been put in front of you
So,
because of the color? Wait a minute. Let me ask the question before you answer, bro.
okay, go
So,
ahead.
what hurdles have been put in front of you because of the color of your skin over the last 5 years?
Um, Certain ways I say words, certain ways I talk, certain ways I represent myself.
But those aren't
Um,
hurdles, though. Those are those you've
they
never been
they are hurdles in my opinion. So
okay.
do
But
you see where I'm coming from?
no, I don't.
Because okay, I've been see, and this is the thing. I guess I have this whole thing against MAGA. We've been, we that voted for Trump back then, we have a label on us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a hurdle in my
Don't you think
opinion.
people have earned that label in many instances? Triple.
I mean, what does the word mega really mean at this point in my it
Well,
in this
because
point in
like
life?
I said, the question that I asked you was specific because you say MAGA, and when we talk about MAGA, make America great again, that's why I asked the question: was America always great for women, or for the BIPOC community, or for the LGBTQA community, or for immigrants, or for brown skinned people, or I mean, you name it. Has it always been great for them?
Well, do
So
you
when the
want to go
question,
down?
hold on.
Do you
So
want to go
when
down?
we
Okay, okay,
hold
okay,
on.
okay.
So when that question is asked, make America great again, and it's not been great for everybody. I would like to think you would agree with that, right, Triple?
Well, I understand that because I've lived through it. I mean,
Right.
I've seen. I'm only 47. I've seen so much over my lifetime. It's like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is I'm tired of being bombarded from multiple sides. And I was talking to my friend earlier today. It's like I choose and pick when I want to wake up and, or not even wake up, but I choose and pick when I want to be subjected to that kind of fucking mentality. And I
Okay.
apologize for
No,
that.
you
I
don't have to.
apologize for cussing again because
Fuck it. I don't care, bro. Don't worry about it. You're in a safe space, okay? So I guess the question that I'm asking is like I think we identified that perhaps in your professional life, you're probably not voting for the party that's protecting you as a worker. It goes without saying, all right? I think we've also talked through the fact.
That may be true.
Well, it is true. I mean, that you don't have to believe me, man. I would just ask you to kind of do a little bit of research about that. The last 50 years, the corporate handouts have come from the right, right? So, but and then we kind of talk through about how would you agree? Here's a question. This is a difficult question for some people to answer, and I don't want it to trigger you, but I want you to answer honestly. Do you think you have white privilege?
Seriously, I do not.
Okay. Do you know
I'm
what it
being
is?
honest. I
Do you
don't.
know
I
what it
don't
is?
even. I, so hear me out on this.
Well, hold on.
I've
It's a question. Do you know what it
okay.
is? Do you know what it is?
No, because I've never delved into that because I don't. I'm not associated with white privilege.
Okay,
I
but
wake
here's
up every day
right.
and
But
I
here's
go
the
to
thing.
work.
Let me talk to you about it. So I have it. I have it.
Okay, so
And
what? Yeah,
so the
let.
reason I have it is because I've never been denied anything in my life. I've never had to jump over anything in my life that was put in front of me because of my complexion, because of my last name, because of the way I look. That's pretty much what white privilege is. There's all kinds of nuances. I've never had a cop look at me driving down a street. I've never had a woman clutch their purse and walk to the other side of the street as I've been walking down the street. It doesn't mean that you haven't had hurdles. It doesn't mean you had obstacles in the way. It doesn't mean that your life wasn't hard. It doesn't mean that you've struggled. It just means that you've not had things because of the color of your skin or your last name or things like that were put in your way that kept you from things. So that's again, that's part of a lesson that we all should learn. I didn't realize I had it when I was younger. I certainly did not. But as I've learned, as I've gotten older, and I've realized that I've talked to people who have had those things put in their way because of the color of their skin. It's a problem, and I would ask you to kind of unpack that a little bit, Triple. I do want to bring some other guests up, man, but I think it's
No,
an important.
I appreciate you hearing me out, and I appreciate you giving me time. I
No
understand.
problem.
I mean, I'm gonna check out for a minute. So yeah, I'm gonna
I
continue
appreciate
to
you.
watch,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate this dialogue we've had, and yeah, have a good day, man. You know,
You too, brother. Thanks a lot.
live
I
life,
appreciate you.
live life.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. See, I want to point it out, Mega. It's possible to have reasonable conversations if you're willing to actually have a conversation. That's always the hard part. Okay, I'm just going random here. Please continue to like and share, friends. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. I'm one-sided. Okay. Eddie, you're white. You have white privilege. I don't know how else to explain it to you. Aiden, looks like you're unable to connect. Aiden, you're welcome to try again. Feel free to request. Hi, Mia. How are you tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am actually.
Okay, so
Um
I want to ask you, when will you stop, or will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
um well, I have followed up on all of the drama from the time he got in office through now. And through court documents and all that I'm seeing, I don't believe that he lies. My question was, seeing you on my For You page, if you don't mind, was to ask what um why are you calling us a cult?
Okay, so I'm going to back up to a couple things. So you said you've done a lot of your research and you've done a lot of follow-ups, and you said you don't believe that Donald Trump has ever lied.
I didn't say I don't believe he's ever lied.
I'm just asking. So
I'm talking about the with all of the court cases and all of
like, what about
the,
them?
well, everything that has been brought against Trump to basically indict him and to keep him down, and they haven't proven anything in court.
Well, he hasn't been to court yet for most of those. Yeah. The
He's been
trials
to
haven't.
court many times on multiple.
Well, the trials haven't happened yet. The criminal trials haven't happened yet.
They don't have anything.
So how do you have you so have you read the indictments?
I have.
You read all of them.
Not all of them, no.
Okay, so did you read? So which one did you read?
The ones that on his property, Mar-Lago, and the values on that, and
So
how
you
he
read, so
the
you, so
tax
you read that,
evasion.
right? So you read that. So you agree that he committed fraud, right?
He did not. I disagree.
So
I
explain
was
to
in
me,
real estate for 18 years, and the way
right?
that they valued the property,
Okay. Well, it's got nothing to do with how he valued the properties, Mia. It had to do
he
with
didn't he didn't value the properties. They
hold on,
were
Mia.
assessed.
Hold on. It's not. It's got nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is he signed documents overinflating his wealth. That's fraud.
It's not overinflating his wealth
He did,
a
Mia. He did.
when he I mean he doesn't have anything in holdings the way that they're putting it on paper.
Right. But Mia, when you sign, here's a question for you. If you went to get a loan and the bank said, how much are you worth? And you had $1,000 in your checking account and you said, I'm worth $50,000. You signed that document and then handed it to the bank. Did you commit a crime?
It depends on what else you have in worth. $1,000 cash
That's
in the
not the
bank
question.
doesn't
Again,
doesn't
Mia,
state
Mia,
a person's worth
Mia,
as far
Mia,
as
please try
there's
to answer the question.
LLCs that
Please
you
try to answer the
own.
question. Please try to answer the question, okay? On the document, the bank
Yeah.
says, how much money do you have? That's the question. And you have
No, that's
$1,000.
not the question. It's how much
Mia,
money do
I'm
you have?
asking you the Mia. I'm
You
asking you
have to answer the
Mia.
question
I'm
properly.
asking you a question. This is I'm asking you the question.
Okay, so they asked him how much cash
Excuse
he
me.
has.
No, they asked him his worth and his assets. Okay, and he signed a document overinflating it. Why would you do? It's fraud. It's textbook fraud.
How do you know it was overinflated?
Because it was proven in the documents and the witnesses and the testimony and the paper trail.
Which side are you listening to? And the banks have gone in and even denied this.
Can you please let me we have to have a conversation. You got to
Well,
stop
you're
interrupting.
asking me, and I'm letting you know.
Answered the question yet, Mia. You haven't answered the question. So if you signed a document when you knew you only had $1,000 and you put $50,000 on it and you handed that in and you signed it, is that a crime? Yes or no?
If you're specifically asking for cash, if I have $1,000 cash, then yeah, but you're not asking for cash. You're asking for a value of worth.
But that's what he did. He overinflated his wealth to get preferred loans. That's what he did. It's fraud. Mia, it happens all the time. It's a white collar crime. It happens all the time. It's fraud. It's simple fraud. It's
when you own things and you own them in trust.
It doesn't, Mia. It doesn't matter. It's fraud.
It does matter.
It does.
It is a way that that the tax laws are laid out.
Part two of your question is this is why you're in a cult, because you are unwilling to accept the fact that what Donald Trump did is a crime. It's a crime. It doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter your status in life. It literally has nothing to do with that. It's a crime. It's fraud. So
it's fraud. You're not letting me answer you.
Because Mia, you're giving me the same argument. You've already answered the question when I asked you if you signed a document misrepresenting your value, your worth, your assets.
He didn't misrepresent it.
He did, Mia. I thought you said you read the case.
How do you figure it with everything that he owns in trusts?
So
or in LLCs. He's part of those LLCs. It's illegal.
How much did he claim the square footage was at his apartment, the penthouse apartment in Trump Tower?
Oh, that I can't tell you.
Okay, I can because I read it. How much did he claim it to be?
I just told you I can't tell you.
He claimed it was 30,000 square feet when it was 10. And he signed a document. That is textbook fraud, Mia. He overinflated the value of Mar-a-Lago by 2,300%. It's fraud, Mia. And you may not like it, and you may feel like it's a conspiracy.
Where you were just talking about his apartment in, but now you're talking about Mar-a-Lago.
It's both. I'm talking about both. So he signed that Mar-a-Lago was 30,000 square feet. When I'm sorry, the Trump Tower penthouse apartment was 30,000 square feet. It's 10,000. He was asked to a value on Mar-a-Lago, and he inflated the value by 2,300%. And again,
he inflated it based on the tax assessor's numbers.
No, he did not. He did not, Mia. That is
Your
not
tax
true.
assessors are always going to be
Mia,
valuing
that's
only the
not
land.
2,300%. Mia, it's fraud. I know it doesn't. I know you don't want to believe it, but it's textbook fraud. And you yourself even admitted that if you signed a document that misrepresented your assets and your worth and your value, then that is fraud. That's what he did. That's what this case is about. This entire thing is about fraud. He inflated his assets to get preferred rates.
And you don't think that this is all just smoke and mirrors?
No, it's fraud.
Okay, so you think that when he was in office, we were not better off than?
You're deflecting. Okay, you're deflecting away right now.
Well, I'm not going to have an argument with you over his fraud case right now because that's all you want to focus on.
No, you brought it up. You brought it up.
No, I asked you.
No,
I
you
was
actually
here
you
to
brought it
ask
up.
you,
Mia,
what
you brought it up.
it
And your
is
second
that
question,
you
and your
think
second
we are
question,
all signs we're all in a cult.
because of what we just went through, because you will not believe the charges against Donald Trump, because you've admitted yourself you haven't read the indictments. Did you read the indictments?
Well,
hold on. Did you read the indictment regarding Mar-a-Lago and the documents case? Did you read that?
I did.
Okay, what did it
and
say?
I think that it's all bullshit.
Okay, what was he charged with, Mia?
I think that it's all bullshit.
What was he charged with?
It's all bullshit.
What was he charged with, Mia? What was he charged with?
Was tax evasion, wasn't it?
No, I'm talking about the documents case, the classified documents.
Oh, the ones that he had at his house?
Right, what was he charged with?
Okay, that one I don't know because I didn't look too much into that one, but I do know that he...
But you said it's bullshit. So how would you know if you didn't even read it?
Okay, well,
Mia,
what about the documents found in Biden's house?
This is an example. So there comes the
by his Corvette. And what about the documents found?
Mia,
no, you don't want to focus on the fact that everyone else.
I'm happy to talk to you.
I mean,
Mia,
there's
did you hear what I said? Listen,
I do hear what you're saying, and I'm asking you why you can ignore everybody else's. All of the other things that are coming about our sitting president.
Happy to talk to you
about it, you are focused completely only about
what. You haven't answered my question.
I'm not going to. I am going to sit here and I'm going to let you know that to sit here and say that we're in a cult
because you are
and you can blatantly ignore what is going on with our current sitting president and the lies that's happening within this administration. But you're so focused on hating Trump, you're still sitting talking about Trump, and he's not even the one that's sitting in office. Okay, you are so just way off base in your cults. You need to just go ahead. You need to wake up. And you need to face the facts that our country is in peril.
Leader is always right.
Our country is in peril.
A leader is considered persecution.
Our middle class families cannot make it in today's society.
It's a very nice pivot
because of what is going on with Joe Biden.
Mia.
No, I'm letting you know that you cannot get on here and not accept the fact that your sitting president has ruined more of our country by the day.
So there's 2,000 people in here, Mia, and all of them are.
I don't care what your 2,000 people are saying, okay? Because I have my own beliefs, and I'm not afraid of your 2,000 people behind their screen.
Let's take a step back. Okay, let's take a step.
How about we just take a break? I really could care less about your 2,000 people.
Hang on a second.
I am a Republican, and I am going to stand firm with what I believe, and I would really like for you to step back and take care of handling everything that is happening in the current administration and just leave.
Okay. No self-control. Here's the problem. So I'm trying to have a conversation, Mia, but you literally have no self-control. So if you'd like to come back so we can talk about it, I'm happy to do that with you. But you can't have a conversation if you're just going to continue to talk. So you can unmute your mic. I asked you some specific questions that you have not been able to answer, and then she ran. And we got a runner. See you later. See you, runner. Runner. Good evening, Donnie. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So the question of the day is, will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
What did he lie about? Give me facts. Facts that you can actually read and give me facts he lied about.
Was the election stolen?
Yes.
Oh, it was? And you have the proof of
Yes.
that?
I mean, we do. We really do. The proof's there.
Oh,
and if you,
where's it?
And hey, how about this? We're going to do this.
No. Hold on. Wait. You're not going to pivot. No.
This is not a pivot. This
Donnie,
is just a simple answer question.
You asked me to. I asked you a question. Okay, this is how this works. Burden of proof is on you. All right, and we're not going to what about it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the way. Okay.
So
well, when you asked a real question,
I asked you the question: was the election, Donnie? Was the election stolen? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So your proof is where?
The proof is in why didn't you all do a recount when the president asked for it?
There was multiple recounts.
No, there was never a recount, official recount, no, anywhere.
There was like 5 of them. The Trump team paid for them. You ever heard of cyber ninjas, bro?
Oh my God, stop with facts. Stop with fake facts. There is no such thing as that. There was no recount done anywhere in the United States.
There were multiple recounts done.
No, there were no recounts done. Georgia didn't do their recounts.
Yes, they
None
did.
of the states did their recount.
They did a hand recount in Georgia, bro. And so did Arizona.
Now we know that's full of shit. Because I'm going to tell you this now, it was proven then.
Wow. So, Donnie, here's the thing.
Okay, I forget. Okay, I'm sorry. You don't want to talk.
No.
You just want your point of view out there.
What I'm asking you to do.
I just did.
No, Donnie, what I'm asking you to do is provide proof. You made a claim.
I just did.
No, you didn't.
I just
did. So is it trust me, bro?
Is it trust me? How about this?
No, I'm asking you specifically.
You're quite older than I am. You're quite older than I am, right?
How do you know?
You're probably you're quite older than I am. You're probably 10 years older than me.
How do you know?
Well, because you're not under 40, I guarantee you that.
Okay, I'm not under 40.
So there you go. Have a good day with that.
Okay, and your point was?
In your lifetime, how many presidents are on election day did you not have a president that night before you went to bed?
Many.
How many elections?
Many.
No, you're not. And other than last election, every president noted before I went to bed at midnight. Every president has been known before he went to bed at midnight.
Bush, Gore, 2016, we found out the next morning. Yeah.
2016, because what? You all threw a fit? The Democrat Party threw a fit?
Hillary gave her concession speech at like 4 a.m., I think it was. So, yeah.
Because she tried to get a recount done.
No, she didn't. She conceded.
Oh my God! Why is it that it's not? The facts are right there in your face. No, you don't want to see it because you don't like Trump. I get it. I get it. You don't like Trump. You don't like the Republican Party.
What I would like you to
I get it. You don't like it.
What I would like you to try to do. Well, he's a fascist. What I would like you to try to do is answer a question. He's a fascist.
I did answer the question.
No, you haven't answered anything. You told me that there was no recounts done, and I would like you to provide your source of that, because I've already given you the fact that they had one in Georgia.
I'm going to go with national news. It wasn't CNN didn't do it. Fox News didn't have anything on it.
I don't watch CNN.
Wait a minute, you don't watch CNN? So these are actual news agencies. You're going to go off something that's not real? Come on, man.
I'm going to go from the fact that you ever heard of the
okay.
So Donnie, who are the cyber ninjas?
They're anybody.
Who are they?
Do you know who they are?
I do. I'm asking you. Do you know who they are?
And I don't know who they are personally. No, and neither do you. You know the group.
Would you like to learn something? Are you interested in learning something?
Yes, I would like to learn something.
Okay, the cyber ninjas were contracted by the Trump team to do a recount. Okay.
Okay. So is it also true?
Let me finish. Okay.
Donnie. Let me finish. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look it up for you.
Okay.
I'm going to look it up.
Do it. Let's do it together.
No, go ahead. Because here's the question, and I'm confused.
No, here's the question for you. When we look it up, and we find out that they in fact did do recounts, will you admit that you're wrong?
Did they do recounts? No.
They did. Yes, they did.
Official recounts.
Yes, they did.
There's only one way to do official recounts, and it's not through some foreign agency.
Not a foreign agency, Donnie.
So, okay, here's my question to you, and I'm not mad. You're not mad.
You're not answering the question, dude. You're not going to pivot away. Here we go. One more time.
Okay.
When we look this up, you can look it up yourself. And I have it here now. I can talk. Cyber Ninja, the company, the Arizona GOP election recount. There's all kinds of scenarios about this. They did one in Georgia. I think they did 3 in Georgia, including a hand recount. So when we provide that factually, right, and we have the evidence to back it up, will you just admit that you're wrong? Yes or no?
Again, I still,
It's a
I'm not
simple
going to admit
question,
something
man.
wrong.
Yes or no? Will you admit that they're wrong? Yes or that you're wrong? Yes or no?
No, I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong because I'm not wrong.
No, that's why you're in a cult, Donnie, because you won't
That's
trust.
not a cult.
It is
Those
a
are
cult, man.
okay. Let me
It's a
ask you
cult.
this.
It's
Let
a
me ask you
cult.
this. Let me ask you this.
So why are you pivoting away, Donnie? Why are you
No,
pivoting?
no. I'm trying to get. I'm trying to understand my cult versus your
Wait,
cult.
hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Hey,
You came in
see,
here. Wait, you came in here and you said that there was no recounts. We
no,
literally
I get
have
it. There was
proof,
no
but there
man.
were. There were.
Listen, dude. You keep trying to go
There
with
were
facts.
multiple recounts, Donnie.
Okay, you keep trying. That's good to go. I'm glad that you won't answer anybody else's questions.
But Donnie,
Let's stop. Let's stop. Will
no,
you
Donnie,
answer my questions?
Donnie,
You want us to answer yours because you want it one side.
because you haven't answered my question yet.
Again, because you haven't given no proof.
I literally have it. You're afraid to look at it. So what I'm trying to tell you, Donnie. Listen.
Hey, look.
Listen.
Look.
Just listen.
See, that's the point with you all.
Donnie.
You have no facts.
Donnie.
Listen, I'm listening. I'm still waiting for your facts.
Then you have to stop then you got to close your mouth, okay? Specifically, okay? The claim that you made were that no recounts were done. We have all kinds of evidence that recounts were done, including the Trump team paying for recounts to be done. And you're having a hard time accepting.
What I'm having a hard time accepting is just because it's not done nationally, not some crazy counting it. Okay, stop trying to
elections aren't national, bro. Elections are done by state.
Yeah, Donnie. Hi, I'm Victoria.
Hang on 1 second, BC. Hang on 1 second.
Okay, sure.
So
no,
Donnie,
go ahead.
Hold on, Donnie. Hold on.
I forgot who we're talking to, people. People who don't listen.
Stop.
I'm listening.
Stop talking. You got to stop talking, okay?
Hey.
The claim that you made.
No, the claim that you made.
No, Donnie, you said that there were no recounts done, okay? Please don't mute him, guys, when I'm talking to him, please. So, Donnie, the claim that you made where there were no recounts done, and all I am asking you to do, it's a simple question. When we provide you the proof that recounts were actually done, will you accept it? It's a really, really, really simple question. It shouldn't be that hard for you to answer. All right? You can unmute your mic, Donnie. Yeah, mods, please don't mute him when I'm talking. I can do it. Thank you, though. Donnie, can you answer your question? Hello, Donnie. Cyber Ninjas company that led the Arizona GP election recounts. Cyber Ninjas, they found more votes for Biden. Now we can look at Georgia recounts. Go ahead, BC.
Okay. Hi, Donnie. So I am in Georgia, and I work in public safety as my main job, and I also work elections as needed during election season. And I can tell you right here in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, because she came here to watch recounts in Floyd County and in Chattooga County. And in Cobb County, Mark Meadows showed up to watch recounts. We had multiple dozens, if not more, of poll watchers, volunteers who I adamantly welcome to come in to see us do our work, circling our tables when we did the third hand audit count right here in my county. So, all of this is on the Secretary of State's website. There are not tens of thousands of people in the 159 counties in Georgia who are making this up. That is simply not true. Okay?
Right. So Donnie, are you there?
We did do that.
Donnie, are you there? I'm just going to drop you if you're not going to engage this conversation anymore. So, okay, so you can unmute, Donnie. Mute your mic, please.
So, but yes, every count that President at the time, President Trump asked for was completed. Every single one that he asked for in Georgia was completed.
Ma'am, and I'm not trying to
hold on, wait.
discredit you.
It's a quick question, Donnie.
I'm not trying to do.
Donnie. So, Donnie, Hold on. Okay. Did you hear anything that either myself or VC said?
Yes, I have heard both what you
Okay.
said, but
Okay.
this is
Wait.
how I'm going to
Wait. Wait.
handle
Wait.
that question.
Hold on.
Again,
Hold on a second. Wait a
we're
second.
both
Wait.
going to. You're
Donnie,
not going to let me
wait,
answer.
please. I'm
Unless I
going to
answer
let you
your way.
answer. I'm going to let
I
you
did
answer.
answer. I don't. Again, I did answer. You don't like it. You're going to keep trying. Okay,
No, I'm trying. No, here's the
Did
question.
I just tell you I do
Realistic.
not? Do I believe the election was bullshit? Yes, there was a lot of
No,
bullshit in the election. You
okay,
know
the
it, and I know
question.
it. Let's stop trying to
No, I
get
don't.
around it.
The question, the
Okay, you
specific
don't.
question,
You're an idiot.
Donnie. Okay, you should probably just go to bed now, Donnie. Okay.
No, stay on because here's the question. You're
Okay.
on.
So Donnie, if you will stop yelling, I will be happy to talk to you.
It's
But or not.
always.
um,
Thank you for jumping in, BC.
yeah. So someone earlier had mentioned the windows being covered. That was in Detroit, and it is because Detroit laws that Detroit or Illinois state legislators have passed into being say that the media and other entities cannot come in and take pictures and record images of ballots. That is the same in Georgia, where Republicans have been in charge for 20 odd years in the executive and in the governor's seat. So that's not anything new. And what had happened in Detroit is the people who were there were not abiding by that law that those elections workers are charged with enforcing, right? And you would be just as angry if it were happening in a red state and there were media entities in there taking pictures of your ballots. So that is a good thing that they were enforcing that while they were trying to get those crowds under control. It is state law. And all of these things are available in state code sections for elections. And as far as the recounts, in the courts, they're listed in the courts where they were ordered to happen. They're there.
Thank you,
So,
BC, for that breakdown. So
yeah, sure.
I want to remind people that the questions have been asked about we don't like you shouldn't tell us we're in a cult. The last two callers that we've had are examples of exactly what we're talking about. So the background behind me: the leader is always right. Criticism of the leader is characterized as persecution. No matter how harmful, the leader's behavior is justified. Adherents are obsessed with the leader, and the leader has the exclusive franchise on the truth. I don't know if you could have two better examples than the last two callers that we just had. So again, BC, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you. It's just one of those crazy scenarios where it doesn't really matter what you're presented. So as a refresher to that conversation, his claim was that there was no recounts done, and we all know that there were numerous recounts done. In fact, in most cases, they were paid for by the Trump campaign, and in many cases, they found more votes for Joe Biden, like in Arizona. So I don't know what to tell you about that. It's unfortunate. It's really, really unfortunate. But I can't help it. Continue to like and share, friends. Really appreciate y'all. Shock, how are you tonight?
Hey, how you doing, Fax?
I'm well, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
What's on your mind tonight?
Man, your last two guests gave me a headache, dude. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you control yourself, but uh, you're a giant, man. Just wanted to come up here on here and let you know I just started going live yesterday, so I was in people's lives all day yesterday and all day today. I actually missed some of the work I was supposed to do going into live because I think this is something that's needed. I'm a vet. I served 21 years in this man's United States Army. I'm 100% disabled vet, but I still work. But what I don't understand, man, is how do you not see all the evidence that's out there? And they say they're not in a cult. It it is ridiculous, man. Facts right there in their face, and they refuse to see it. And I know that right wing media is keeping information from right wing I'm not going to even call them Republican voters. Right now, it's the MAGA party. It is no longer the Republican Party. MAGA has completely taken over that party, and I don't see how it's coming back. Facts. I don't see it because I was in lives with people, and you give them stats, you let them know where to go find the information. Hell, sometimes you go find the information for them, and they still don't want to believe it. Just like that, your last guest. I mean, you were telling them about cyber ninjas, how they did recounts, and they're telling you no, they didn't do recounts. It wasn't an official recount. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
No, you're right, bro. I mean, that's the power of propaganda. So imagine yourself. So I go and check out right wing news and echo chambers so that you don't have to. You're welcome. Kidding. Um, but
I do this well.
I know you have to, right? So the my point is like if that's all you hear, so people who live in that echo chamber in that funnel of disinformation, if that's all you hear all day long, then when somebody confronts you with an opposing opinion, of course you're not going to believe it because you've been literally indoctrinated by lies, literally indoctrinated by misinformation. So again, the election component, they don't care that 60 judges said there was no fraud. They don't care that Republican officials testified that there was no fraud. They don't care that people are going to go to jail for election interference. They don't care about any of that. This guy and his sycophants and right wing media told him the election was rigged, and that's all they believe, and
I
that's
mean,
why it's a cult.
I've actually met some people, some right wingers that had never seen J6 until Tucker Carlson put those little snippets out there. That's why they keep saying, "Oh, it wasn't an insurrection." You're gonna tell me my eyes and my ears lied to me? I know what I saw.
Exactly.
You know,
That's exactly right, man. It's
but
dangerous. I mean, that's why we got to keep talking about it. I mean, that's why we have to keep talking about it.
it's crazy. And look, facts. I've deployed 5 times.
Thank you, bro.
5 times I've deployed, and I don't know. Can you say war on here? I don't know. Okay.
You just did.
I didn't know. I see a lot of I see a lot of these right wingers saying, "Hey, if Trump don't win, it's gonna be war, civil war," and they're talking about World War III. The majority of these people they've never seen war. They don't know what it looks like. Look, they don't want that is something that you do not want because it is not pretty. So they really need to stop playing with that Civil War, World War III. No, I'm gonna say World War II, like Donald Trump. World War II. They don't want to see that. They do not want to see that. And
I think
I
they do.
just I just pray for my country. I pray for its people and just hope that people can wake the hell up. I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
No, I know
But I do appreciate you and your platform. It is needed. Um, you're gonna change some people. I know that you're gonna change some people. I've talked to between today and yesterday. I've actually talked to some people that's on the right, and a lot of our views are in sync, but they just they're just so used to voting Republican,
I know.
and it's sad, man. It's
I
sad.
agree. I agree, bro. I
It's sad.
appreciate that. Thank you for
Yeah.
your service, brother, and thank you for being a creator now. And welcome to lives.
Oh well, yeah. Look. I said, like I said, yesterday was the first day I went live, and I said, "Oh, now I can go live, so I can be able to talk to facts tomorrow." So I knew that I was going to request to come up here and talk to you. And yesterday I had exactly 200 followers. I'm almost up to 300 now. So it's it's growing. So I'm
Friends,
learning.
those of you in the chat, do us a solid and follow Shock, and let's get his count there up so we can even start hosting lives in the future.
Yeah, I'm learning this thing, and I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. But hey, I appreciate what you do. I just wanted to come up and let you know that I do appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
And we'll see what happens come November. I honestly think that they are the minority. They're just loud and obnoxious. You know, I was telling some right wingers yesterday, hey, we don't buy merch, we don't go to rallies. You know, you're just loud. That's why you think you're the majority. But I have faith in the American people that they're going to make the right choice. So
Me too. At the end of the day, me
I
too.
do.
Me too.
I think they're going to make the right choice and save democracy. And hopefully Trump will be in jail by then. But we'll see.
At least convicted by then, for sure. Again,
Exactly.
Shock. Thank you, brother.
Exactly.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thanks, Fax. I appreciate you bringing me up, brother.
You got it, buddy. Have a good night.
All right. You too.
Later.
Bye.
He's right. You know, it's the fight of our lives. Every election's important, but literally, we're looking at a fascist takeover of our country. I have another favor to ask. BM Buffy, if you're in the chat, please say hi. She reached out to me. We're trying to do a panel on education. She needs a few more followers to be able to join our panel on Thursday night. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So say hi in the chat, Buffy, and please follow her, friends, so that we can get her count up, her followers up to over 200. She's getting close, but she needs a few more so we can take care of that and get her on board. I'm sure she will. I'll remind everybody later. Continue to like and share, friends. Really appreciate you all. I'm going to bring up Rusty because I'm going to need a co-host for a little bit. Good evening, sir.
What a circus!
Welcome. We need a clown.
I know, but I knew he couldn't come up in the box.
Right.
So yeah, two very fine examples of the cult.
Yeah.
And both of them immediately defaulting to anger, and can't have a discussion. And I can't imagine why that one dude was saying no recounts were done. Wow, were you that unplugged?
I know where that came from. That was a part of a Q conspiracy that made its way to various extreme right-wing pundits, air quotes, and that's where that came from, because I've heard that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Q raising his ugly head again.
No. I'm Q, just so you know.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Oh, believe me, part of me wished I was Q.
I mean, you're Q. I forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Part of me wished I was Q, because there's that sick part of me that says this is the greatest practical joke ever pulled.
Right. You want to hang for a bit?
Yeah, I can hang for a bit.
Okay. We'll bring up some more guests. Everybody continue to like and share. Don, how are you tonight?
Hi, Fax. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we got you.
All right. So I am a young Texan female. I first started voting back in 2008, so I'm still under 35. And I want to say that I join your live every time you go live, because the way you are able to trigger their cognitive dissonance is amazing to me.
Thank you.
You are able to make them so frustrated. And I'm like, it says a lot when you cannot accept new facts as true. That shows an example of not having critical thinking skills. And for him to literally pinpoint them and target them as his base, it's like that was the smartest move he could have ever did, because he has such a loyal group of non-critical thinking, cognitive dissonance active followers that will do anything that he says. And it's scary. It's so scary. And I'm so weary about the future that we're leaving, or the future that we're trying to live, because of the amount of power that they have. But I think you getting on here day in, day out is so refreshing. This is my first time ever joining anyone live, and I joined yours because I'm here every day.
I appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I mean, I agree. I mean, Rusty and I have had conversations about this and about how the level of cognitive dissonance is it's going to be studied forever, right? I mean, political scientists and historians and mental health experts are going to study this forever. I mean, it is a cult. Nobody likes to be told that they're in a cult, obviously, and the people that are in the cult won't accept the fact that they're in a cult, which is another example of being in a cult. It's literally the entire self-fulfilling prophecy. And you called it out, though. It's the danger of, and I was talking about this with our previous guest about when you're confronted with information that defeats the narrative in your head, they don't know how to process it. And with all due respect, a lot of it has to do with education. And you called it out. There's critical thinking required to navigate through that. Like you're presented with this. So somebody says there were no recounts done. Well, actually, there was a whole bunch of recounts done. Here's the information. Critical thinking would say, oh, I didn't realize that. Cult behavior is, well, that's bullshit, fake news.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and
go ahead, Rusty.
I'll
be right back. I'll be right back, you guys. You've got the floor for a second, buddy.
Don, I'm glad you were able to jump in this live, but I got to disagree with you on one point. He didn't ask any really special questions of them. The sad reality is he asks a simple question and they lose their minds.
Agreed.
And you're 100% right. It is not only the lack of critical thinking, but a super toxic lack of critical thinking. And if it's a kid just coming out of high school, I can almost give them a pass. But when you've got, 30, 40, 50-year-old, 60-year-old people, it's like, you know what? If your education was crappy, I'm sorry, but you're well past it now. You could have learned. You could have picked up the ball and run with it, but you decided not to. So, I love Fax. He's my buddy, but he's not that bright. Oh, wait, damn, he's back. Never mind.
Well, I do enjoy the lives, and I will definitely make it a point to jump in whenever I can. Thank you all for having me. And
sorry, I
just
had to step away
continue
there.
doing what you've been doing.
And I didn't say anything bad about you, Fax. I didn't.
Would be the first time. Thank you, Don. I'm sorry I had to step away there for a second, but I appreciate you joining and I appreciate your kind words. And it's a fight. I'm glad you're in it. Thank
you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Welcome to the fight, Don.
Indeed. Again, I think that the circumstances they present themselves to us every single day, and it's like. So Anthony, who's my co-host normally, and much love, Anthony. He'll be back this week. He doesn't believe anybody is redeemable at this point. My mother, who was the eternal optimist, sitting on my shoulder saying, "Oh, we can probably flip one or two," and I still hold out hope when you can have at least a reasonable conversation. Like we had a few guests earlier who wasn't necessarily aware of a lot of things. We started talking about capitalism. We started talking about corporate greed. Those are the kind of people that I think you can convert from an ideological perspective. But if you're in the cult connected to all the bullshit, then Anthony's right. There's no hope.
As you and I have talked ad nauseum, I tend to lean on statistics, and there are some such things as statistical insignificance. And when we say there is no hope, well, no, I believe there is, but it's statistically insignificant.
Right.
I think those numbers are super low. And I'd love to be proven wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love for a great awakening to happen.
Me too.
But no, I'll still fight for those one or two people.
Me too.
And even though, it feels like you're, pissing up a rope, but it's
right.
it's still if something I say or something I do makes somebody stop and go, oh, wait a minute, let me think about that. Yeah. Then I've done my job.
So, Caleb, good evening.
Yeah.
What's up?
How are
What's
you?
up, man?
How you doing?
Good, bro. How about you?
Good, bro. Are you a Trump voter?
Yep.
Okay, do you want to have a serious conversation, Caleb?
I sure do.
Okay, so will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
All politicians lie. You do realize that, right?
That's not the question, Caleb. It's not the question.
Well, that was my answer.
Okay, well, that's not the question.
To your question.
Well, that's not the question, though. Okay, so the question is...
But your question was, do I believe Trump's lies?
No, I said, will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
Uh, okay, it's funny how you ask questions and follow up to other questions that don't
No,
make sense.
that's the question I asked you, bro.
I have the ability to understand
You do?
lies from
Okay,
truth.
so will you ever stop believing Trump's lies, Caleb?
I don't believe any politician's
So
lies.
the answer is that you'll not stop believing his lies.
No, my answer is clearly that I will never believe any politician's
But you're a
lies.
Trump supporter.
I am. And
Okay.
I'm also saying that Trump lies, but I'm also saying that Biden lies.
Right. Okay, but
I'm
you're
also
okay
saying
with
that
Trump lying
Bush
to you.
lies,
Right, but you're okay with
are,
Trump lying to you.
as well as you being okay that all politicians have lied to
So
you
Caleb,
throughout your life.
we're talking about your vote though here. So you're okay with Trump lying to you.
But you're okay with Biden lying with you.
It's a nice pivot. Nice try, Caleb. I'm better at this than you are. So once again, are you
I don't
okay
think
with
you
Donald
are.
Trump? Yeah, I think I am. Are you okay with Donald Trump lying to you?
Are you okay with Biden lying to you?
So you don't want to have a serious debate, do you?
Can I
No,
take this for a second,
you're
Paul?
the one that doesn't want to have a serious debate.
Right.
You
So
just told me that was a nice pivot, and
no, it
it
wasn't
threw
pivot
you off your
because you haven't
course.
answered my
It threw
question
you
yet.
off your rails,
Because
and
you
then
haven't answered the question yet.
and you haven't answered my question.
Because I
And I
asked
did
you
answer your question.
the way that this works, Caleb, is this is how this goes, right?
Ooh,
Really simple. Okay.
getting you flustered, huh?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
dude,
yeah,
I don't
you
get
are,
flustered by
bro.
I don't get flustered by debate. I don't get flustered
Read,
by debate
uh,
bros. That's right.
yeah.
So
Read the comments. You're
was
getting
the
flustered.
right? Was the election stolen, Caleb?
Nope.
So Joe Biden's the legitimately elected president of the United States?
Are you a poll worker?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am.
I'm not.
Great.
So
Was the
I have
election
no
stolen?
idea.
Okay, so is
I
Joe
have
Biden the
no idea.
legitimate?
I'm not a poll worker, bro.
Right. Is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States? Yes or no?
According to
How about
what
you?
we know, yes.
Okay.
But I have no idea. I'm not a poll worker, bro.
right,
But
Donald Trump's
apparently you
Donald
are, and
Trump's
you were there to see every single thing through.
no,
So
I wasn't
apparently
just
you
just
are.
in my local precinct because I get involved in democracy, but that's just me. So Rusty, would you like to play with the food?
Oh yes, absolutely.
He's gonna pass it off because he's getting flustered.
No, I just appreciate my guest. I'm flustered.
Yeah.
I'm so flustered.
No.
Right.
Let Rusty do
So
it. I'll handle Rusty the same damn way, bro.
Okay.
two
Buckle
points.
up, Caleb.
2 points. Number one, when you ask the question, "Am I bothered with Joe Biden lying?" Yes, if it's a proven lie.
Right.
100%.
And you know what? Rusty?
No. I don't need your you know what. I'm answering your question.
I'm also bothered by Trump lying. And like I stated before, when I first came into this live and I started flustering the host and he started backtracking, I'm also flustered with Trump lying.
But you'll vote
Great.
for him.
Then let me ask you. Then let me. Okay. First of all, I don't need your permission to continue.
Cool.
Secondly, why would you ask a question like, "Are you a poll worker?" if you know right up front that an individual poll worker is not one to judge whether or not an election is valid?
Because the person that's asking the question has been asking all the previous people the same question, and that's their way of going into trying to discredit people who think that Trump was elected in a way that was.
Keep trying. You can finish that sentence. Good luck.
French dressing on that word salad, or do you prefer Italian?
Oh, the insults. This is what Democrats do. So I guess I'm going to be a bigot and a racist next, right?
You vote for Trump?
Do what?
You vote for Trump, you're complicit in racism. Absolutely.
Oh. And so my question is to you is how can you prove that?
Because Donald Trump's a racist.
Oh, he's a racist.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
I can prove it. I can prove it very quickly.
Shut up, Rusty. Rusty, shut up.
Really?
You and the host are funny as shit.
Read
the comments,
Caleb. Let's start from
Rusty.
scratch.
Read the comments.
Let's start from scratch.
I'm busy having a conversation.
Hold on.
Let's start from scratch. All right, let's start from scratch.
Okay.
Yep.
What are you having for dinner tonight?
I'm a vegan.
Cool. Nobody gives a fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a debate, bro.
Debate, bro.
This is the game. I was just reading about this. This is the new phenomenon, right? Because the right wing is just losing at every turn. So they're recruiting young men who can pass a like 5 or 6 or 7 questionnaire that at least like, can you tie your shoes? Can you walk and chew gum at the same time? And then they give them talking points and they try to teach them to debate like Ben Shapiro. And the problem is they all suck at it. They all just suck at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable. That, it's like, okay, what? So he's trying to ask you a gotcha question.
Of course.
And he sucked at it.
Let's talk to Hollywood.
It's
So
like,
Hollywood, how are you tonight?
Good. Can you guys hear
Good.
me?
Yeah, we got you.
Are
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What's on your mind?
And chicken breast, by the way.
Hey, how you doing? I love chicken breasts. Thank you for answering my question. I appreciate that.
Little marinated.
Sweet.
Well, I just wanted to. I'll throw this out really quickly because I'm sure you guys are more so looking for opposition. But I was just curious because I was just wondering, what do you think happens in the post-Trump era with MAGA and with? I do agree the Republican Party doesn't exist any longer. But what happens, because I don't know that anybody else has been able to take the mantle, and I'm very curious to know what you guys think happens after he's not the center of the cult.
So I've been thinking a lot about this. In fact, like, I'm working on a book, to be honest, and this is part of what I want to write about. So the way I looked at this prior to, convictions aside, because he's going to get convicted, I believe that there will be factions of donors that identify as MAGA, with money like the Koch brothers. And I believe that they're going to attempt to form their own party, basically like the Christian nationalist party of our country. Whether it be under MAGA or another brand, and it will divide the Republican Party. It won't divide it in half because MAGA is like 20%, 18 to 20% of the Republican Party, and they'll attempt to form their own. That's what I think is going to happen. Which means that Republicans, at least in the short term, will not win national elections because they'll lose 20% of their voting base.
Right.
And I think it will be the redemption that they so desperately need. That's just my thoughts. Rusty?
I'm a little more nihilistic. I think that because specifically the January 6th insurrectionists, a very, very large swath of them received slaps on the wrist versus real time. Some of the big ones, yeah, they got real time. But a very large portion of them got a slap on the wrist. Because of that, I don't think that MAGA, the rank and file, understand the risk versus reward factor to being treasonous. And I think that because of that, after Donald Trump goes to prison, passes away, whatever. I agree. I agree with facts that yeah, I think the Republican Party is going to fracture because of it. But I think that we're going to see a lot more social upheaval. We're going to see a lot more protest. We might see violence because these people are very angry and they're not listening to reason. I think that a lot of them will kind of wake up, but I don't think all of them will, and I think that an awful lot of them. He appealed to people who had been living under rocks and weren't voting, even if they were registered. They weren't voting because they didn't believe in the system, and he made them believe in the system from his point of view because he agreed with their bigotry,
anger,
paranoia, anger, all the negatives. And because he lit them on fire, it's going to take a while for that to cool. If you get a chance, and I know Fax, I don't know if he's talked about this earlier or not, there is another person who I hope comes into Fax Lives in the future. What is it? Ex-Trump Granny?
Yeah, Pam. I've invited her.
Pam. She's amazing.
Yep.
And
she got out of the cult.
She came out of the cult. And
I talked to her the other night. Actually, she was in a live, and I think she's the kind of person, because it's not going to be myself or you, Hollywood, or Rusty or Anthony, that's going to change people's minds. It's going to be people like her.
yeah,
It's going to be people like
Yeah.
her who were down freaking deep. And what it was for her was, there was just an epiphany moment. I asked her about it. She's like, it was January 6th for her. That's what it was.
and I think, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, Fax, but I think that an awful lot of the change is going to be grassroots. And because it's going to be grassroots, it's going to take a long time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on Hollywood? Do you have a theory on your question?
Yeah. Oh boy. It's tough to say exactly what they're going to cling on to. He is so central to everything, and again, it's it can't be Tim Scott, it can't be any of these other wannabes, Matt Gates, and some of these these clowns.
Yeah, I mean, money, right? I think so. I talked about this earlier about how you're starting to see fractures in the Republican Party about how their support for Trump is waning. Keep in mind that Republicans have won one popular vote for presidency since 1998. It was W's reelection in 2004. So they already are up against it from a popular vote perspective. Yes, I get the electoral college, but they need more voters. So their only strategy to win elections at this point is to suppress the vote or cheat. That's it. So when you start to see exit polls when 40% of Republicans in South Carolina said that they're never going to vote for Trump, it's like 30% nationally. That's it. It's game over. South Carolina said you got to feedback Hollywood, right? It's like 30% nationally. That's it. You got to mute. So you got a little bit of feedback. So I guess that's kind of what we're talking about. So what am I lying about, Jackie? You can jump in the box and tell me. So that's kind of where we're at. So it's a good question, but these are the kinds of things we have to continue to focus on to drive these people that are under the rocks out. I'm less about conversion and more about exposure at this point.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I mean, right now I think truly it's a crystal ball to figure out what's going to happen in the future. We are in such chaos right now. We can look at it logically and say, well, it could go this way, it could go this way, and we could all be completely fucking wrong.
That's true. That's right. Again, I want changes to our system. I want more progressive
Agreed.
policies. I want universal health care. I want Supreme Court reform. I want election reform. But none of those things can happen if we elect Republicans. None. So that's a good question, Hollywood. I'm glad you asked it, bro. Anything else on your mind? Hollywood. Anything else on your mind, brother? Hollywood? You're muted, man.
Sorry about that. All good. I was muted. Sorry about that. No, all good. That was really helpful. I appreciate your perspective, and I love your live.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a good night. See you later. That's the ultimate question, right? I think he's got a little bit of a lag. You're right. We need the crystal ball. We need something, but I don't know what it is. But we got to. It's gonna be interesting. We actually have to. We just got to be engaged.
That's what drinking's for.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Looks like I'm trying to bring you up. Will, trying to get you to connect, bro, but you're not connecting. You're more than welcome to request again. Sorry about that. Thanks for hanging, Rusty. Please like and share. Give the panelists friends. DZ49, how are you tonight? DZ? DZ49?
How's it going?
Good,
Can you
how are
guys hear
you?
me? I'm connected to my wife now.
We got you. Welcome.
Cool.
Are you how are you?
Not bad. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I find myself somewhere in the gray area because I actually, there are some things that Biden has done that I actually do support, and there's some things that Trump that has done that I support as well. So,
like what?
So I mean, the first thing, the first thing is pretty obvious. I think it's leadership for America. Just the way he talks and is able to hold a debate in a sentence. We need.
Joe Biden does a really good job of leadership in America and does do a good job conveying his message in his speeches. I agree.
No. Well, that's your opinion. In my opinion, Joe Biden can't hold a sentence. That's just one of the obvious reasons.
So DC, let's break that down. Let's break that down because my question for you is: when was the last time you watched an entire speech that Joe Biden's delivered?
Man, I tried to, and it's honestly it's hard. So, I mean,
so then is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that you've only seen selected sound bites?
no, I've watched full interviews.
Okay, I didn't say
And
interviews. I said speeches.
or speeches, interviews, whatever you want to call them. And I
When
believe
was
it's
the
safe
last
to
one?
say.
When was the last one you watched?
I don't know. I watch them online. I watch them on when they're live on TV as well.
Okay.
I can't name it, dude. Honestly, off the top of my head.
Okay,
So I don't have a date.
Okay, so you think that Biden doesn't necessarily speak very well?
Educated. I know words. I have the best words.
He's not a war hero.
War hero.
He's a war
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was
I mean,
captured.
that sounds edited, right?
I like people
But
that weren't captured, okay?
I was down there, and I watch our police and our firemen down at 7-Eleven, down at the World Trade Center right after it came down.
Look at what happened in the 1990s. Our embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, and this was a horrible period of time for us, were attacked. You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things. And I will tell you, I left Texas, and I left Florida, and I left Louisiana,
sir,
and I went to Puerto Rico, and I met with the president of the Virgin Islands.
Who's the president of the Virgin Islands?
sir, we can go back and forth all day about.
So, DC, who's the president of the Virgin Islands?
Wait. Let me just say this real quick. We can go back and forth.
DC, who's the president of the Virgin Islands?
Why does that matter? Why is that? Why does that?
Who's the president of the Virgin Islands?
Who's the president of Mexico?
Who's the president of the Virgin Islands?
Why does that matter? Who's the president of Mexico?
Can you answer? If you don't know, just say I don't know.
I mean, I want to know why that matters.
I'm going to tell you why in a second.
Okay.
Do you know who the president of the Virgin Islands is?
I'm not familiar off the top of my head right now.
Okay, it's the United States president.
Okay.
And Donald Trump was saying, I met with the president of the Virgin Islands. So the reason I bring that up is because if you want to make that argument about Joe Biden's mental acumen and ignore Trump's, then it's just a disingenuous conversation.
And that's exactly what I was trying to say is, I can pull videos of both sides, right? And I can honestly say that both sides are fucking dumb.
So pull one then. So then, but you're gonna vote for Trump.
Yeah, I can sit here and say both sides are dumb. I don't think you can because I think you're so one-sided. But I can sit here and say both sides are fucking. They both.
Right. But you're gonna vote for Trump.
Does hold a little bit better of a speech, but he does say some stupid ass shit. So does Biden.
Right,
though.
but so there's no line. Is there? So again, will you ever stop believing his lies?
No, but one of the things that I
no, but easy. Hold on, it's a question, bro. So
okay.
You will never stop. I want you to answer it. All right, I want you to answer this question. It's really important. Okay. Will you ever stop? Will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
Yeah, that's a really dumb, uneducated question. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
No, I mean, no. It doesn't work that way. Will you ever stop?
I understand how this life works
Trump's
now.
lies.
This is the one-sided life.
It's a question, man.
This is the one-sided life. I came here in neutral. Somewhere.
No, it's a question. It's not one-sided.
Yeah, and that question sounds fucking retarded, dude. Come on. Are you ever gonna stop believing Biden's lies? Like, come on.
Okay. You drop the R star, bro. The game over. You don't drop that bullshit in here. You just don't. Yeah.
Wow.
Good evening, Wayne. How are you tonight? Doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter? Okay. Question for you. Will you ever stop believing Trump's lies? Okay, see. Okay. Right. When? When will the truth come out? Hey, Wayne, can you do me a favor? Because the people in the chat are saying that they can't hear you. So can you mute and then turn your mic back on? Your picture, and then you look at the bottom. There's a microphone icon. You just tap on that, and then untap it. Then untap it. Then you could untap. Okay, so continue talking in the chat. Please let us know if you can hear him. Right? Like which one? Okay, but okay, right. Still can't hear you, Wayne. So this is what I want you to do. So Wayne,
I can hear him. I don't know. I don't know about the chat.
I can too. So this is what I'd like you to do, Wayne. I would like you to drop down into the queue, request again, and I'll bring you right back up. Okay? You have to reset.
Oh, it's a technical thing, Wayne. Just
It's not you, Wayne. It happens. It's
yeah.
TikTok. It's screwy. So what I'll do is I'll drop you, and then you can request again and come right back up. Okay? Okay. Buckle up. So please request again, Wayne. We'll bring you right back up. There you are. Okay. All right, Wayne. Just give us a count. 1 through 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We good, folks? Everybody good?
Everybody
Okay,
good?
I think we're good. Okay, we got you, Wayne.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So I'll just repeat.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
No, this is my that I've ever done this, so I'm kind of a little nervous, but
Don't be nervous.
I'm a strong Trump supporter, and I want to, have my voice heard too.
Okay, so the question that I asked specifically was, will you ever stop believing Trump's lies? And I think what you said was if they're verifiable lies.
That's
so
right.
The question is, the big one for you, was the 2020 election stolen?
That like, I'm not God. I don't know, but it wasn't stolen in a way that I understand what they think, like what Trump thinks as far as stolen. They had the pandemic, and then they brought into place the vote by mail, and
Who had the pandemic?
The pandemic that China.
Okay, hang on 1 second, Wayne. Hang on. Vote by mail has been around for decades. And the state of Washington, you can only vote by mail.
I think if you look at how many were voting by mail in prior elections, and in that election, it would have been great.
Okay, let's back up for a
enough
second.
to change the outcome of the election.
But don't you think it's funny, Wayne? Do you know how Donald Trump voted?
Hey, I did too.
by mail. Right. So again, you said something about, and we can't spend a lot. We have to be careful how we talk about COVID because it's a trigger point for TikTok. So it was a global pandemic.
Oh, that's
accept
right.
that, right?
Thank you for giving me that heads up.
It's all good. So it was a global pandemic. You would agree with that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then Donald Trump lied and is still lying about the 2020 election, isn't he, Wayne?
But he's not accepting the reality of the vote.
Right.
I know what he's doing. He's deflecting because of he thinks he was had. In other words, they got him. They got him with everything going on then at that time. They were accusing him of trying to put Clorox in the blood veins of people, and it was just the media was just so against him that
the media was against him, or maybe he was doing things that perhaps he shouldn't have been doing. How about that? Is that possible, Wayne?
Well, here's more of the roots of my thinking here is that all the popular media does control the narrative, and the narrative.
You mean like Fox?
No, everybody but Fox and a couple others. But yeah.
So Fox, the biggest cable news channel of them all, was sued and lost and had to settle for $750 million because of lies and defamation. Wayne. So what about that?
I'm sorry they didn't try to fight that, because I think there's some
They
freedom
did, Wayne.
of
That's why they
speech.
settled, though.
Well, they settled because the old guy was like 97 years old, and he didn't want to
Right, but
spend
they
his last days in court.
settled. Oh, maybe
Murdoch.
because is that why they settled? Or if you're innocent,
That's my impression.
okay, okay, interesting. So I want to get back to the election. So
Hmm.
is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States, Wayne?
I feel that he's the legitimate president. It wasn't. It wasn't because most of the people weren't up on the news. They believe what the media tells them, and they vote how they want to vote. They
Right.
the Democrat Party's was good at getting out the vote for people who wouldn't normally vote. That's why they
Okay.
got so many votes.
So that's democracy working, right? So I guess the question still that I haven't heard you really answer is about the lies piece. Now, Donald Trump has done nothing but lie about the results of the 2020 election. Wayne. We sort of talked that through, and I think you would agree. No words in your mouth, but it sounds like you agree. A lot of background noise. Well, I think maybe you would agree that he's been lying to you about that, and that's dangerous, don't you think?
Well, personally, he can say that, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. So it's not. It's
Sure.
like, do I accept it as being true? I understand where he's coming from, but
Where's he coming from?
he's
Because I don't
well. I
understand.
kind of thought I went through that a little bit, where he feels that he was had. They got a lot of people to write in. They got out the vote in ways that it was never done before. He was saying, "Oh, we go to the polls and vote."
Right, but it again, it is how it's been done. I've been voting for a long time, so it's not something new, Wayne. I think the bigger question, I don't know where you went, Wayne. The bigger question here, though, is um, why why is it that you're still holding on to something? Are you planning on voting for him again this year, Wayne?
Yes, I am.
Okay, is there anything that he can do that would change your mind?
Anything that he can do to change my mind to not vote for him?
Yeah.
No, I think he's doing all he
So
can do.
you don't care about the fact that he obstructed justice. You don't care that he shared classified information with people who didn't have the ability to see it. You don't care that he sexually abused a woman. You don't care that his entire business empire was built on a fraud. You don't care about any of that.
All that seems like let's take one thing at a time there.
Sure.
But everything that he was accused of, there are things that other people are accused of, and not and they get away with it.
Like what?
Well, like the there's nobody else that was charged in New York City with that same crime, and
Wayne,
that's that
that
same
what is
kind of.
Wayne? You know what? I got bad news for you, man. That's a white collar crime that gets charged and convicted all the time.
For
The only reason we hear,
overstating your
yeah, it's white collar fraud, man. It's what it happens all the time. The only
or
reason you don't hear
white collar crimes and fraud,
white collar
but
crime, the only
you're
reason
lumping
you
that
think
in.
that, hold on, Wayne. The only reason that you think that is because it's Donald Trump, and he wants to tell you that because he's running. It happens all the time. It's fraud, Wayne.
Most of the time, when those white collar crimes happen, unless it is in unspeakable amounts of money, it's boring news. So you don't see it in the news cycle, but it Fax is right. It happens all the time.
Okay,
Because Donald Trump is not only famous, he's the former president of the US, he's running for president, he's going to be top tier in the news, and he got us the spotlight on himself. He ignored it's escaping me, Fax, the in the Constitution, the emoluments
Emolument clause.
clause. He ignored the emoluments clause. He didn't divest his money like he was supposed to. He was doing things that every other president did with their businesses, and he refused to do. it to me, it started when he said, I'm not going to release my tax returns until after I'm elected. All of a sudden, the spotlight's on him. It's like, well, wait a minute, you're not doing what every other president did. So the business spotlights were on him. And then, even after he was elected, he still didn't release his tax returns.
That's right. So
So,
Wayne, I mean, that's the big question, right, Wayne? So this is what we're trying to understand. And I'm
Okay,
not
let me
accusing you.
let me
Hang on one
look at
second.
it this way.
Hang on one second. Hang on one second.
Okay.
I'm not going to accuse you of this, but it's really, really simple to say, well, everybody does it. But the question for you is like when you walk into the ballot box in November for the general election, and Donald Trump's name it's on the ballot, you said you're going to vote for him. So I'm trying to ask you specifically: is there any line that Donald Trump can cross, where you would stop voting for him? And I gave you some examples: fraud, obstruction of
If
justice,
he was
sexual.
if he
Wait,
was
hold on.
okay.
Sexually abusing a woman, January 6th, engaging in insurrection, all these kinds of things that he's done, right? I mean, as a voter, you need to critically analyze. I believe he deserves due process. I believe he deserves a jury trial, and I hope he's innocent until proven guilty. But you as a voter, is there a line for you?
The line would be drawn where there is fairness in the jury. Fairness, for example, that was New York City, and the
Okay.
judgment for like he has to pay $400 million for overstating his. That's
For
way.
fraud.
You're right, but if there was another case that where they had to pay $400 million for overstating, then I would like to hear that. But
It's because it's called disgorgement, Wayne. It has to do with the amount of money that he frauded not only the banks but the state of New York. That's where the
well,
amount comes from.
the banks weren't defrauded; they were paid
Yes,
back.
they were actually defrauded, Wayne. It doesn't matter. Still fraud.
They
So
were
here's a question for
also.
you, Wayne. Wayne, here I'm gonna make it easy for
Yeah.
you. Okay, if you have $1,000 in your checking account, and you go to the bank for a loan, and they say, how much money do you have in your checking account? And you know you have $1,000, and you write down $50,000, and you sign that document and hand it back. Is that a crime? Is that a crime?
Right. It's wrong, and
Is it a crime?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but if it's a
Wayne,
crime, that I don't know why it would
Wayne.
be.
How about some critical thinking here? Think about it. You signed a document, right?
Right.
That you knew was false. Is that a crime? Yes or no?
If it's a legal document, then yes.
Yeah, so that's what Trump did.
If it's just something saying like, "Are you going to vote
No,
for Biden?"
no,
and I sign it
that's
and I
different.
say I'm.
But that's what he did.
It's.
That's what he did.
But now
He signed. Wait, Wayne, don't pivot away. Okay,
I'm not going to pivot
that's what he
away.
did. But that's what he did. He
Right.
signed documents overvaluing and overinflating his worth, his net worth, his assets, his ability to pay back these loans that he got to get preferred rates. So it doesn't matter that the banks got their money back.
Okay.
It doesn't matter at all. What matters is he committed fraud.
He committed
That's what
fraud.
matters.
Okay, because he's a business person, and
Doesn't matter. He's a
he
shitty one.
no.
I got to
The point
step away
is
for just a second. I'll be right
Okay,
back.
thanks, buddy.
you
He's a
you
shitty one, Wayne. He's
you
a
can
shitty
look
one.
at if you can look at every business person in the world, they probably committed the same types of frauds
Does
and
that make it
crime.
okay?
It makes
So if you saw your neighbor, do you like dogs?
of course, yes.
So if you saw your neighbor kicking a dog, do you think it's okay for you to go kick a dog?
Well, that's a different category. We're talking
It's
about
not, Wayne, because
financial.
what you're trying to do is this both sides. Everybody does a comparison. Again, specifically, you've already admitted that if you sign a document that was erroneous and false, it's fraud, and that's what this is. It's a simple case of fraud. I want to go back to the comment you made about a jury. So are you saying that Donald Trump can't get a fair trial in his home state of New York?
So this kind of blows my mind. One judge was the whole judge and jury, declares him guilty, declares
You know
what he
why?
can on that case. 400
You know
million.
why?
The judge, it was the judge and jury. There wasn't a
You know
jury
why?
because that's New York. I don't know why.
No.
No.
No. Its legal team had an option to choose a jury trial or a bench trial, and they chose a bench trial. That's
Okay. Well, I think no one judge should be in that case.
Then you can blame them for that. Then
That
you can
would
blame for that.
that would be you
Right.
know.
Then you can. So again, here's the question though, Wayne. Here's the question. So Donald Trump grew up in New York. He's a New Yorker. Are you
Mhm.
saying he can't get a fair trial in New York?
Yes.
Okay, so he appointed a judge in Florida So a judge that he gave the job to. All right. Now, do you think he can get a fair trial there?
I don't know. I don't know how that one's going to go.
So
I know New
it's
York
just a simple
is
question.
not. Do I think? I think he can.
So do you understand why that is just very, very twisted logic, Wayne? Because I gave you the scenario of a Trump appointed judge. So in your belief, the only way Donald Trump could be legitimately found guilty was if a jury in a judge that he picked himself finds him guilty. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's some places where they'll take somebody like O.J. Simpson, who is obviously guilty, and they say he's not guilty. So if you can see that that's possible, then you can see that in New York it's possible that a person could be fined $400 million for something that there's nobody harmed. That's
People
just my
were harmed,
logic.
Wayne. That's the point. But people were harmed. Okay, so specifically, you haven't answered the question for me.
What question? I thought
The
I
bar.
answered it.
What's the line? What's the line for you where you would stop supporting
Oh,
Trump? I gave you a whole bunch of examples.
okay, so we're all free thinkers. We all like make our own decisions based on the truth, what we believe is true. And when we see somebody,
what is true? I base my decisions on what is true, not what I believe is true.
but you say what is true, but sometimes what is true turns out to maybe be not true. So, if you believed in the Russian hoax, you said that was true. Did you believe that the Russian hoax?
It was true.
It was true?
Yeah. Russians interfere with the 2016 election.
When they said that Trump was guilty of colluding with Russia and Russians, do you think that was about the Biden laptop thing? That was that a hoax, or was it really Biden's laptop?
We know the Biden laptop existed, Wayne, but you're pivoting. So
no, but I'm just saying I'm trying to get to true. It's not true. True can be what you think is true, and then it turns out not true.
Here's the problem, though, Wayne. Again, you're still not answering the question. Okay, I'm trying to find for you because you're going to go to the voting booth in November, and I want to know what will keep you from voting for Donald Trump.
If Donald Trump dies,
wait, so sexual abuse of a woman's not enough for you?
If that was the case, then we wouldn't have any politicians.
Yeah, that's why you're a piece of shit.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Good evening, Kyle. How are you today?
Hey, good. How are you, sir?
Doing fine, thank you. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
Honestly, yes and no. I believe there's lies on both sides of the alley. Would you not agree?
Let's talk specifically about Trump. The question is, will you ever stop believing Trump's lies?
How do you know if they are lies or disinformation?
Was the election stolen?
Was the whole Russia Kaluza thing a deal or not?
Kyle,
answer the question.
You got to answer the question, Brand. Can't pivot away. It's a question for you. Was the election stolen?
I think it was rigged. Yeah, we have some questions about that. Yeah.
Okay, so is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States? Yes or no?
No, the CIA's running stuff.
Kyle, gotta answer the question.
No.
Gotta answer the question. Okay. Is Joe Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States? Yes or no?
No. There were.
Why do you say
there
that?
were members? Do we have any service people in here?
I'm just asking you specifically. Why do you say that?
If you're a service person, you would know.
Hold on. The reason I'm asking specifically is that 60 court cases, Republican secretaries of state, Republican witnesses, Republican election workers, people that have already admitted, Rudy Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, Ken Cheeseborough in Georgia, already admitted the entire thing was a setup to try to sway the election. So I'm trying to find out, do you have information that none of us have?
I couldn't disclose that if I did, but.
So you don't. You still believe the election was stolen?
I do.
Okay, Kyle. So again, you don't have any evidence. There's been nothing presented. We're now over 3 years away from that. Every single time a court challenge has come up, it's been shot down. Republicans have testified that the election was not stolen. Donald Trump is still trying to sell it. Even Donald Trump himself, even in the indictments, admits that the election wasn't stolen. But yet you still believe it. Kyle on TikTok, you don't have any evidence, but yet it's stolen.
I mean, I guess that's what led to believe. Yeah, you got that right. But I still
So but it's a lie though, Kyle. It's a lie. That's my point, right?
Okay. So
That's my point.
Okay, so we're talking about lies and stuff. I mean, we also have the current administration that's doing the same.
So you're pivoting again, Kyle. You're
On what? I'm not trying to pivot on anything.
We're talking about a
actually
specific
we're
lie.
talking about the election, right, Kyle? You're pivoting. So so I've been doing this for a long time, Kyle, and this is what happens when people are cornered and you can't respond to the questions because you don't have evidence that the election was stolen because there is none. Trump's been lying to you about it.
So
because he wants his supporters angry, which is why he called them to January 6th, which is why he said, "Come to January 6th, be wild. You don't fight like hell. We're going to lose our country."
Okay.
So
can I cut in there for a second?
Sure.
January 6th, did you not see the ruling and on all the judicial rulings on that?
What rulings?
That the FBI, in fact, had let those people in.
They didn't.
Sir, yes, it was a
Kyle,
court case, sir.
so have you seen the footage of the windows being smashed?
Have you seen the footage that they did not?
Kyle,
yes, I've seen that.
Okay. So then, if the windows are smashed and people are breaking into the building, how are people being let in?
That was what the media showed you. If you would review that whole, it was like a 3 or 4 hour tape. There were FBI agents and they're leading people around and showing them different.
You have that proof, right?
Excuse me?
Once again, you didn't answer my question, Kyle. So specifically, if people are smashing the windows and breaking into the building that was closed, how are they being let in?
So if you would have watched the footage, barricades, and
Kyle, you're still not answering the question. I'm going to say it one more time.
Yes, sir.
People are smashing the windows and breaking glass and breaking through doors. How are people being let in?
You don't think like the FBI had anything to do with that?
No.
Okay. I guess then we differ in that.
Well, because
let's assume.
Hold on, Kyle. One
I
second.
like a conversation. I'm not going to yell or anything. I'm not like.
We're not yelling. But again, see, you believe a theory because my concern is where you get your information from. So you believe a theory.
Where's your information from, sir?
I read it. I watch it on TV. I read the court documents. I know what people have been charged with. I watch the testimony. I watch witness statements. I watch people who were in the cult testify to the lies that they were told. Where do you get your information from?
I guess a different place than you do because I've never seen anything that you do. I guess I see just like the opposite of what you do.
So you've never seen the windows being smashed?
I did see that, sir. Yes, sir. I've already said that.
Okay, let me ask one question, please.
Yeah,
sure.
So you're saying that the FBI let in the January 6th rioters on January 6th?
Sir, I'm not saying that. I know that it was ruled upon.
Okay, hold on. Whose FBI was that on January 6th?
Apparently, it wasn't Trump's.
No. Who was president on January 6th?
Depending on what time I have, I guess Trump.
Yeah, Trump was president on January 6th, meaning he was still the executive, and the executive branch is what controls the Justice Department, which would mean, by your logic, if it was the FBI that let them in, then it was the rioters to disrupt the legal process of verifying the election, correct?
pretty wild when you break it down like that, huh, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Right.
I am.
Yeah,
I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure that the Trump administration was in charge of the Justice Department on January 6th because he was still president.
correct.
I'm 100% sure that his own attorney general was saying from the rooftops there was no his own attorney general.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, his own daughter, by the way, too, Kyle, said the same thing. The reason that you
Yeah.
didn't see it, Kyle, the reason you didn't see it is because, like I asked you, when I answered your question honestly about where I get my news from, and you didn't. And my concern is that because you get your news from a very right-leaning source or more than one, then of course, you haven't seen that.
Gotcha.
So, don't you think it's possible that you're just wrong, Kyle?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm wrong every day, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if you're
Sure.
not, then you're not human. But yeah,
agreed. Totally agreed.
I mean, yeah, I'm wrong every day. Either you're I mean, you're misinformed or you're uninformed. So I don't feel like
I think you're both.
I don't feel like we have the media. I feel like that's kind of one-sided anymore, whether you're left or right. People can't like, man.
So
have their own opinion.
I answered your question. I answered your question when you asked me as to where I get my information from. You didn't. So could you answer the question? Like, where do you get your news from?
Honestly, a lot of TikTok, and then a lot of news sources you probably don't use, like DuckDuckGo.
Okay, so DuckDuckGo is not a news source. DuckDuckGo is just a search. It's an aggregator.
Okay, well, same thing as Google.
So, well, I know, but Google's not a source either. But Kyle, Google's not a source. Google's not a source. Okay? So when you go to DuckDuckGo and you click on a link, like all search engines work, that would be the source. So what is the source of the information that you get?
Apparently all bullshit, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
does anybody ever get real fucking news anymore, or no?
Well, you got to do some work. There's the information's out there. You could read the indictments. Have you read any of those?
No, not on Trump. Not on this. No, not on this one.
Why not?
Because I think it's baloney.
So, but how do you know it's baloney, Kyle, if you haven't read it? Like, how do you know?
So from what I have researched, a bank really wouldn't do that type of a cash
transfer. We're not talking about that. So we've already it's already fraud. That's fraud. We're talking specifically if you haven't read it on felony charges, 4 criminal indictments. Okay, so if you haven't read any of them, how do you know it's bullshit?
I mean, I guess I don't, but isn't the other side doing the same thing right now? Not that it's okay.
Kyle, you're pivoting.
I know, but I'm asking you a question.
You haven't answered mine yet. So if you haven't read, because you made the statement that they're bullshit, right? And you haven't read any of the indictments, then how do you know that they're bullshit?
I guess I'm just watching the wrong media.
Let me ask you a question. Let's take the 91 criminal indictments off the table for right now. The case in New York, the fraud case, was, correct me if I'm wrong, Pax, that was civil.
Yep.
Because he defrauded not only the banks, but he defrauded the state of New York.
Correct.
And that's why he was on the hook for that $400 million, and that number is growing because of interest. But I go back to
disgorgement.
Yeah, I go back to E. Jean Carroll. Do you or do you not believe that E. Jean Carroll was essayed by Trump? And he ran.
And he's a runner.
Yeah. I thought for half a second we were getting through.
Yeah, well, see, this is a good example, and somebody mentioned it earlier about cognitive dissonance. And that's why I hammer on people for their news source. And just as a reminder, friends, Safari, Chrome, Google, whatever it might be, those are not fucking search engines. I mean, they're search engines. They're not sources, right? A source would be what
Okay,
that's the irony of that
to
whole
respond to Huggins in the chat, alleged, not convicted. I'm assuming you're talking about E. Jean Carroll. And if that is the case, you're right. He wasn't convicted. It was a civil case because the statute of limitations was up. However, he committed the act. That's why he was found by a jury to have committed the act. And that's why even the judge called him a rapist. And that's why to pony up. He had to pony up $5 million. And then he ran his mouth.
Yep, exactly.
He couldn't shut up about it. And now it's 83.
Good evening, Bones. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine.
Cool. Well, just a couple qualifiers. Are you a Trump voter?
I'm a Republican voter. So
are you a Trump? So then you're a Trump voter by default. Okay, good to know. What's on your mind?
Well, let me tell you this on the fraud case. Just some information. So I just heard a lot of the things that you had said on the fraud case, and I want to correct the things that you said.
Have you read the ruling?
I've been up to date on that thing from when it was filed all the way through.
Have you read the ruling?
Have I read it word for word? No, but I've read a lot of pieces of the ruling. I've read enough.
I've read the entire thing, Jones. So who do you think's going to know more about it, you or me?
Well, I can tell you some of the things you said that were wrong.
Okay, so let's just ask the question. So you haven't read it. I have. Who do you think knows more about it, you or me?
I can tell you some of the things you said that were wrong. I don't want to debate who knows more or less.
How would you know if you haven't read it?
Well, let's take the first thing. The first thing that I'll tell you.
So you don't want to answer that question, do you?
Well, let's just see when we get through this discussion who knows more, you or me.
Fair enough. I'll humor you.
Okay. The first thing you said
I can't wait. Everybody make popcorn.
Is that the first thing you said is that the Trump team had a right to choose a jury trial. Okay.
Correct. It's a choice.
Okay. The fact of it is that the way the thing was filed, being a civil trial, Trump and them had no right to choose a jury trial. And that's a fact. No, that's a fact. You can go back because you're wrong. Okay.
Okay, so you made the claim, so prove it.
Yeah. I don't. You can go back and read it.
No, you made the claim.
I'm laying in my bed. I'm 66 years old. I'm not going to go back.
But Bones,
and
you
read
made the
it.
claim.
Tell you you're wrong.
Bones. You made the claim, bro.
It's a piece of
evidence
the appeal.
Without facts to support it is just bullshit. So you made the claim. So prove it.
It's a piece of the appeal. You'll be able to read it
man.
in the appeal that Trump and them were denied a jury trial.
So Bones, once again, you made the claim. So prove it.
It's a piece of the appeal. That's my proof.
They haven't appealed yet, by the way.
Yes, he did. He filed his appeal today.
I saw a headline.
So that's the second fact.
So I didn't realize that. So he ponied up $400 million.
Okay. So the second fact is he filed the appeal today, and he told them he doesn't have the money today to file it.
The billionaire.
But he filed the appeal today. So the appeal. So that's the second thing. So now the third thing is that as it relates to the type of case that it is, which means as a consumer case, okay? It was filed as a consumer civil case. So when your partner said that there's a lot of white-collar fraud crime prosecuted in the state of New York, I agree with him 100% that there's a lot of white-collar fraud cases in the state of New York. This was not a criminal white-collar fraud case in the state of New York. This was a civil case, which is totally different than there has not been a real estate case tried under this statute in the
Bones, it's not a real estate case, it's fraud.
Okay, hold on. But
no, you talked a lot. It's my turn. First of all, there's so many things that you've gotten wrong so far.
No, I haven't.
Bones, I let you talk. Bones, I let you talk. Specifically, this is not a real estate case. This is a fraud case. When you sign documents attesting to certain things, whether it be your net worth or whatever it might be, a legal document in an attempt to get a loan, that's what he did. That's what this case is about. And because you didn't read the judgment, which I did, you would know that.
Okay.
That's what this case is about, Bones. The entire thing is about fraud. So again, here's an example. If you have $1,000 in your bank account and you went to secure a loan someplace and you wrote down, they ask you to please fill out your assets, and you write down a $50,000, knowing you have $1,000, and you sign it, is that a crime? Yes or no?
Talk to me. It's a simple question. So I'm going to my bank at Chase and I'm going to buy something for my house. You're asking me?
I'm asking you, if you're trying to get a loan, to get a premium rate on a loan, or just a loan in general, and you're asked to fill out an attestation statement and say, how much money do you have? And you have $1,000 and you say, I have 50,000. You sign it and then you hand it across the desk to the person who's going to review it. Is that a crime? Yes or no?
The answer to that question, where I sign a statement with a bank to Chase Bank and I sign that, what I have in total assets, I would tell you the answer to that question